Hello
No
everyone.
foul play.
I'm here to help you relax
You
tonight.
didn't find it odd
I
that
know
a
many of you
9-year-old could
use this
disappear
video
without
to
a
fall
trace?
asleep. So,
I followed
before you
protocol.
get cozy,
If you're calling
also,
me 40
let
years
me know
later,
where you're watching from.
then maybe your
and what
department's
time
got
it
time
is
to
there.
waste.
I'd love to hear
I
from
don't.
you. Story
Click.
1. It started at
Something wasn't
exactly
right.
2:17 a.m.
The
That
dollhouse
detail
back
would
at the
haunt
scene,
Imran for the rest of
forensic
his life.
teams began inventorying
Because when
the
everything
room.
was over,
Beneath the
when the
bed
police
was a crawl
reports were
space
written,
sealed with plywood.
when the news twisted the
Inside,
story
they
into
discovered a
something
small metal
unrecognizable,
lockbox.
that timestamp
Inside
would
the
still be
lockbox
there,
was a set of
unchanged,
photographs,
unexplainable.
Polaroids, curled at the
Imran
edges,
wasn't supposed to
showing
be
a young
awake.
girl with red
He had
hair
work
in
in the
various
morning,
poses.
a boring
Some
office
showed
job,
her smiling,
data entry,
others crying.
nothing important,
But the final
nothing
photo
dangerous.
chilled the entire
His
team.
life was quiet,
It was of
predictable,
Rosie standing beside
safe.
the dollhouse,
But that night,
holding up a sign
something
written
pulled
in
him out
crayon.
of sleep.
This
Not
is
a
not
sound,
my home.
not a dream, just
On the
a
roof of
feeling.
the dollhouse,
He opened his
forensic
eyes
techs
slowly.
noticed something
The
strange.
room was dark,
Carved
silent.
into the shingles
Then
with
his
a
phone
blade
buzzed.
were 7 sets of
Once,
initials.
twice.
Only one
A
matched
call.
someone they knew.
Imran groaned,
R.H.,
turning over,
Rosie
blindly
Harlan.
reaching for it on the
The
bedside
rest?
table. Who's
Unknown.
calling at this hour? he
The room
muttered.
had become a
He looked at
forensic
the screen
goldmine
and froze,
and a nightmare.
calling Imran.
Detective
His
Ellen
own
Glass
number.
stared at the
For a moment,
dollhouse on the
his
evidence
brain
table.
refused to process it.
Each carved
What?
set of initials was
He blinked,
cataloged and magnified.
looked again.
7
Still there.
sets.
His number.
One belonged to Rosie
calling him.
Harlan.
A
The
glitch,
others?
he thought.
No mention
Had to
of them
be.
in any Harlan
Maybe
family
some
records.
network error.
Glass
Maybe a
felt
spam
pit
trick.
form in her
But
stomach.
something about it felt wrong.
Assume the worst.
Too
she
precise. The phone
7
kept
sets of
vibrating in
initials.
his hand.
7 kids.
He hesitated. Then,
Desai nodded
he
grimly.
answered. Hello.
If we're lucky,
Silence.
initials alone
Just
won't
static.
be all we have for long.
Faint. Distant.
Digging the
Imran
records,
frowned.
Detective Glass
Hello.
requested all
Who is
missing
this?
persons reports for
Still
children
nothing.
under 12
Then,
between
a sound.
1975 and
Not from the line.
1985
From
in
the
Kalamazoo
background.
County and
A
surrounding
voice.
areas.
Low. Panic.
The list was longer
Please,
than she expected,
don't do this.
and many had gone
Imran's
cold
stomach
with
dropped.
only vague leads.
Hello. Who is
She
that?
assigned her team
The
to
voice
begin
on the other end
cross-referencing the initials
was his.
with these files.
Not similar. Not
the
close.
first match came quick.
Exact. If anyone
TL,
hears this,
Timothy
please.
Lasker, age 10,
The voice whispered.
disappeared while
I didn't
walking to
mean
school
to.
in 1979.
A loud crash.
A.W.
Something breaking.
Angela White,
A
8,
struggle.
vanished
A
from a
scream.
grocery store parking
And then,
lot in 1980.
A second voice.
MC
Cold.
Maya
Calm.
Carter, 6.
He shouldn't have answered.
Last seen leaving a
The call
church
cut
daycare
instantly.
in 1982.
Dead silence.
Each
Imran
case
sat
had
frozen
one
in
bizarre
bed,
similarity.
his hands still gripping
Initial
the phone.
interviews with the
His
Harlan
heart
family
pounding
were
so hard
conducted,
it hurt.
but not followed
No,
up.
no, that's not.
The Harlans always
He
seemed
shook
to
his
have
head.
just
It
seen
wasn't
the
real.
child nearby,
It couldn't be
or
real.
claimed they
But
knew
his body
nothing.
didn't believe that.
None were arrested,
Because every instinct
were
inside him was
searched.
screaming one thing.
but the
That
Harlans were
wasn't
in
a
the
prank.
background of
His
everything.
hands trembled as he checked the
The
call
family.
log. There it was.
The Harlan family
Incoming call.
patriarch,
2:17
Walter Harlan,
a.m.
had died in
From his number.
1992,
Duration.
the same year the house
0:42
was
seconds.
first abandoned.
Okay.
He was a
whispered
church
to
deacon,
himself.
local
Okay.
handyman,
Think.
and often hosted Sunday
He stood
dinners
up,
for neighbors.
Turned on the light.
His wife,
The
Ann
room looked
Harlan,
normal.
had died in
Nothing
hospice
broken.
just 3 years
Nothing
earlier.
out of place. No signs
Photos
of
from
anything.
their home showed the
But
couple
then,
with their children,
He noticed something.
Gregory, Sarah,
His door,
Michael,
slightly
and Rosie.
open. Imran froze.
Rosie had been the
He
youngest
always
by
locked
nearly
it.
10 years.
Always.
Interviews
Slowly,
with surviving
carefully.
community
He
members
stepped
painted
toward
a
it,
curious portrait.
his breath shallow.
The Harlans
His heart
were respected,
racing. He reached the
helpful,
door,
and devout.
pushed it open. The
But
hallway
those
was
who
empty.
knew them well,
Dark.
or dared
Silent.
to question them,
Nothing.
spoke of
See,
secrets,
he whispered.
strictness,
Nothing's wrong.
and an unsettling devotion
But as he
to
turned back
privacy.
toward his room, he
They
heard
always
it,
locked their
a
basement,
faint sound,
one former
from
neighbor
inside.
said.
A whisper.
Always.
His voice.
Not just a latch.
You shouldn't have answered.
Heavy chains,
Imran spun
like
around.
they were hiding something
The room
alive.
was empty, but his
A
phone
pattern,
was on the bed.
hidden in
And the
plain
screen
sight glass,
was
widened
lit.
the search.
Call ended.
She pulled
Then,
property records for
without
the Harlan
warning,
family's business
it buzzed
dealings,
again.
and
Same
discovered
number.
Walter had purchased
Calling
3
Imran.
adjacent parcels of
This
land
time,
in the
He
early
didn't
1980s.
want to answer, but something inside him.
2 had been sold,
Something stronger
but
than
one
fear
remained untouched
forced his
and wooded.
hand. He picked
10
it up.
acres of thick
Slowly.
Michigan forest.
Pressed accept.
She obtained
Hello.
a warrant and headed
Breathing.
out with cadaver
Heavy
dogs.
breathing. Then,
On the
a
third
whisper.
day, they
Closer
found the
this
first
time.
shallow grave,
Right against the phone.
then a second,
You're too late.
then a third.
Imran's blood ran cold.
Each grave
For
contained
what?
the
He
remains
asked,
of a child.
barely able to speak.
Dental records
Silence.
confirmed what
Then,
Glass already
A
feared.
sound that would follow him forever.
Timothy
A
Lasker,
slow,
Angela
wet,
White, and Maya
dragging
Carter
noise,
had all been buried
like
there.
something being pulled across
Their
the floor.
disappearances,
And then,
once scattered
the
and
voice
forgotten,
again.
were
His
now
voice.
fully connected,
Look under the bed.
bound together by the
The cold,
Harlan name.
disconnected.
The
Imran
fifth
stood
victim.
there, not moving,
Meanwhile,
not breathing.
forensic techs
His eyes
made a
slowly
discovery
drifted
inside
down
the secret room's
toward the
toy
bed.
chest.
The darkness
Hidden
beneath
beneath
it,
a false
and for
bottom
the first time,
was a strip of
he realized
35
something
millimeter
terrifying.
film.
He didn't remember
After careful
checking under it.
development,
When
it
he woke
revealed
up,
8 still
the silence
photographs.
stretched. Thick,
Each one showed
heavy.
a child sitting
Then,
in the same chair,
very slowly,
in the same room.
something moved. Under the bed,
One girl,
just
seated in the
enough
4th photo,
to prove one
wore
thing.
a shirt with
He
Camp
wasn't
Elmwood,
alone.
1978,
Imran didn't move.
printed
He
across
couldn't.
it.
His eyes were
Glass
locked on
found
the
the camp
darkness
still
beneath the
operating
bed.
and contacted
Something
their
had moved.
historical office.
Not imagined.
That girl
Not a
was
trick of the
Emily
light.
Stanton,
Real.
reported
His
missing in
breathing slowed.
1978
Not
during a
because he
family
was
trip.
calm, but
Her
because his
case
body
gone
had gone
cold,
into something deeper
ruled
than
as
fear.
likely abduction by a
Survival.
stranger off the
Think,
highway.
he whispered to
No
himself.
suspects.
But his
No
thoughts were
leads.
scattered,
Until
broken,
now.
because nothing made
Emily's
sense.
initials matched
call
one
from
on the
himself.
dollhouse.
A voice that
ES.
was his.
The body count
a
was
warning.
now 5.
And now, something under his
whistleblower.
bed. The silence
Then,
stretched,
A miracle.
heavy, waiting.
Detective
Then,
Glass received
faint
an
sound.
anonymous envelope
A
in her
soft
mailbox at the
tap.
station.
From beneath,
No return address.
Imran flinched.
Inside
His
was a
heart
letter
slammed
and a
against
photo.
his ribs.
A Polaroid
Who's
of
there?
the
He
dollhouse,
called
taken
out.
clearly in the
His
1980s.
voice cracked. No answer.
Pinned to it
Just
was a
silence
note,
again.
handwritten
But the
in
silence
block
felt
letters.
different now.
They
Alive,
never let her out.
watching him. Imran
She
swallowed
begged.
hard.
I couldn't
There was only
stop
one
it,
way forward.
but I made
He
her a
bent
room
down
so
slowly,
she could feel safe.
every movement careful,
There are
measured.
more.
His hand
Look
reached
under
for
the
the edge
floor.
of the bed.
The truth
He
is
hesitated,
deeper than you know.
because deep down, he already
Glass's
knew.
hands trembled.
Whatever was under
There was
there
a faint signature
was not
at the
normal,
bottom.
but not knowing
S.
was worse.
A visit
He dropped
to
to his
Gregory
knees,
Harlan.
lowered his head,
Gregory
and
Harlan,
looked.
the eldest
Darkness.
son, was
At
now
first,
63
just shadows.
and lived in a remote
Nothing.
cabin 2 hours
Then,
north of Detroit.
His eyes adjusted.
Glass and
and
2
he saw it.
officers arrived
A
unannounced.
face, staring
He
back
answered
at
the
him.
door with a tired
Imran
expression.
screamed,
Long
falling
gray hair
backward,
pulled back,
slamming into the wall.
eyes dull.
The thing under the bed didn't
You're
move.
here about Rosie,
Didn't crawl out.
he said quietly.
It just stayed there,
almost like
watching.
it was a relief.
Because the face
Glass
was
raised
his.
an eyebrow.
Same eyes.
We're here about
same
all of them.
features. Same expression.
Gregory let out a long
but
sigh
wrong.
and stepped aside.
The skin was pale.
Then I
too
guess
pale.
it's time.
The eyes. Dark.
Inside, his
Not
walls
just
were
in
covered
color,
in childlike
but in
drawings.
depth. Like
Rosie's
something was
face
missing
appeared
behind
repeatedly,
him.
drawn
Imran
over
scrambled
and over
backward.
in various stages
No,
of life.
no.
A 9-year-old,
The thing under the
a
bed
teenager,
smiled. Slowly.
even a woman in her
and
20s.
then, it spoke.
She never
You saw
left
it
that
too.
room. He
Imran
said
froze.
softly.
That voice.
She cried every
it
night.
was his.
She sang
exactly
lullabies
his.
to herself.
But colder.
I made her
detached.
the dollhouse.
What are you?
I brought her food when they
Imran
forgot.
whispered. The
But I
thing
wasn't
tilted its
strong
head
enough
slightly.
to stop it.
That's not the right question.
Glass pressed.
A pause.
Who kept her there?
You should be asking.
He
when
stared
am
out
I?
the window.
Imran's breath
All of
caught.
them.
What?
But mostly Sarah.
The thing under the bed moved
She said
slightly
Rosie was
closer
too
to
wild.
the edge. Still
said
not
she had
coming
to be
out.
tamed.
2:17 a.m.
One final
it said
clue.
softly. Imran's
Gregory
heart
said
stopped.
something else before
That's
being
when it
taken into
begins.
custody.
Begins what?
She wasn't the last.
The thing smiled again.
There was another,
The end.
a boy.
Silence.
He didn't live in
Imran
the
shook
room.
his head violently.
He died before
No,
they built it.
this isn't real.
The floor.
It is.
The one
the
Rosie
thing replied
slept on.
calmly. And
That's
you
where
already
they
know
put him.
that. Imran's mind raced.
Detectives returned
The
to the
call,
farmhouse and
the
removed the
voice,
planks beneath
the
the
scream, the
bed.
murder.
Ground-penetrating
he whispered.
radar lit up almost
The thing's
instantly.
eyes flickered.
They began
Yes.
to dig.
A
And
pause.
what they found would
You
change
heard
the
it.
direction of the entire
Imran's throat
case.
tightened.
The
Was that
ground
me?
beneath the bed had
Silence.
always felt wrong.
Then, yes.
Luis Romero had
The
mentioned
word
it
hit
early
like a
on.
hammer.
The
Imran staggered
floorboards
to
under
his feet.
Rosie's bed were
No,
thicker than the rest.
I didn't.
Layered
I would
differently.
never. You will.
Now, with Gregory
The
Harlan's
certainty in that
confession
voice.
and a confirmed
It was
body
absolute.
count rising,
Imran
it was
backed
time
away
to
slowly.
dig.
This is a trick.
The forensic
It's a warning.
excavation team began
The
carefully
thing under the
removing
bed
soil.
shifted again.
Within
Its
hours,
hand slowly
they
reached
uncovered
forward
a wooden box
and slid something
Not
out
a
into the
coffin,
light.
but a
phone.
carpenter's chest.
Imran's breath stopped.
Inside
It was
lay the
identical
skeletal
to
remains
his.
of a young boy,
Same scratches.
no older than 7.
Same case.
There were
Same
no clothes,
everything.
no
That's
toys,
yours, the
no
thing
name.
said. No,
only a
Imran
small
whispered.
silver pendant
Yes.
clutched in his tiny hand.
A pause.
The
Tomorrow.
letter D.
Imran
etched into
stared at it. What?
Who was D?
You lose it.
Detective
and then you
Glass
find it
sent the
again.
pendant to be analyzed
The thing's
while
smile
forensics
widened.
worked on estimating
And that's
time
when
of
everything
death.
changes. Imran's
The
hands
chest
shook.
itself dated back
This
to
isn't
the
possible.
1950s.
It already
older
happened.
than Rosie,
Silence.
older than even the Harlan
Imran
children.
looked at the phone on the floor.
The boy
then
was
back at
different
the
from
thing
the
under
other
the bed.
victims.
Why are you
His
telling me
remains
this?
showed signs of
The answer
malnutrition
came instantly.
and prolonged physical
Because you
abuse.
tried to stop it.
Several bones
chill
had been
ran
broken
through him.
and healed improperly,
And
there
the
was
thing's
evidence
eyes
of
darkened.
blunt force trauma
You
to the
failed.
skull.
the room felt smaller.
Someone had not
colder,
just hidden this child,
like the walls were closing
they
in.
had erased against him.
Imran shook his head.
And yet,
No,
Gregory
I can
Harlan
change it.
had known about him.
The thing leaned closer.
Glass
Almost
returned
out from
to
under
the
the
jail
bed
for
now.
another interview.
You already tried that.
Gregory's truth.
Imran's breathing quickened.
Gregory
Then
sat
I'll try
with a numb
again.
expression,
The thing
hands
stopped
folded
moving.
on the cold steel
Its expression changed slightly.
table. When Glass
For
showed
the
him a
first
photo
time.
of the pendant,
Uncertainty.
his lip quivered
That's
slightly.
new, it murmured.
His
Imran
name
noticed.
was David.
You didn't
He said
expect that.
quietly.
The thing didn't
He was our
answer
cousin.
immediately.
Sort
Then,
of.
slowly,
He came to live with
it
us in
smiled again.
1971, I
Maybe
think.
this time.
I was 9.
A pause.
Rosie
You
wasn't
last
even
longer.
born yet.
Imran clenched
Why was
his
he there?
fists.
Glass
I'm not
asked.
going to kill anyone.
Gregory paused.
The thing's gaze locked onto
No one ever
his.
said.
You don't
One day
remember her
he was
yet.
just in the
Imran
attic.
froze.
Mom
Huh.
said he was special
The thing nodded
and
slightly.
couldn't go to school.
And then,
Dad
it said
said
a
the
name.
state didn't need to
Aisha.
know.
The
So he
moment
lived
the
with
name
us.
left its mouth,
But he wasn't
something
allowed
inside
to speak unless
Imran's mind
spoken to.
cracked open. A flash.
He looked down
A
at his
face.
hands.
A girl.
I think my
laughing.
parents were paid to keep
Then,
him. A hush
screaming.
job.
Blood.
Foster system
Imran
loophole or
stumbled back.
something.
No.
They never filed
The
paperwork.
memory vanished as
He
quickly as
wasn't
it
on
came.
any records.
But the feeling stayed.
Sarah used to call him
You see,
the ghost
the
in
thing
the walls.
whispered. It's already
What
inside
happened
you.
to him?
Imran's
Glass
chest
pressed.
rose and fell rapidly.
Gregory didn't look
Who
up.
is she? The
Sarah
thing
said
stared
he saw
at him
something he wasn't
for a
supposed
long
to.
moment. Then
Maybe
answered.
something Dad did.
The one you couldn't say.
One day she told me
A
David
loud
ran
knock
away.
suddenly echoed through the
But I
apartment.
knew.
Both of
I
them
heard the
froze.
hammer.
Another knock.
I heard him scream.
Imran. A voice.
State records
Real.
and a missing name
From
glass
outside the room.
requested state foster
Imran
care
turned
and
toward the
orphanage
door.
records.
Who is
from
that?
The late
He whispered.
1960s.
The
to
thing
early
under the bed
1970s.
didn't respond. Slowly,
Several files
Imran
were
looked
missing.
back down.
One in
It was
particular
gone.
stood out.
The space under
A
the
child
bed.
identified
Empty.
only as infant
Only the
DJ,
phone remained.
placed
And
into
from the
temporary
hallway,
care in
the voice came
1966
again.
after his
Imran,
parents
open
died
the
in
door.
a house fire.
It's me.
No adoption
His blood ran
paperwork.
cold.
No
Because he
foster family
recognized that
placement.
voice. It was the
The
same
last
one
entry
from the
listed
call.
a caseworker.
Cold.
Howard
calm.
Ellison,
You
now
shouldn't have
long
answered.
deceased.
The knock
DJ,
came again.
the
Slow.
initials carved into
Measured.
the dollhouse roof.
Not impatient.
Glass
certain.
sat back in her chair.
Imran. The voice
realizing
called
what it
again.
meant.
Calm and steady.
The dollhouse
I know you're
wasn't just
inside.
a memorial.
Imran didn't
It was
move.
a roll call.
His eyes were
And
fixed on the
David,
bedroom doorway.
the earliest victim,
Every instinct
had been
screamed at
buried
him to
beneath
stay
it,
back,
while
to
others
run,
were imprisoned
to pretend he
inside it.
wasn't there. But the
The
voice.
family web,
It was the
became
same
clear.
one from the call.
The Harlans
The same
had operated
cold
more
tone
like
that
a
had
cult
said,
than a family.
You shouldn't have answered.
Walter
His
Harlan
throat
ruled with an
tightened.
iron fist,
Who are you?
and
He
Anne
called out.
backed every decision.
Silence. Then,
Sarah, the
someone
oldest
who's trying
daughter,
to keep you
had become
alive.
the enforcer.
That answer
Cold,
didn't help.
calculating,
Not even a little.
cruel.
Imran glanced
Michael
back
was
at the
mostly
bed.
absent from
The
records,
space underneath it
having
was
died
empty
in a
now,
car accident
like
in
nothing had ever been
1991.
there. Except
Gregory had been
the
the
phone,
only one to show
still
remorse.
lying on the floor,
With
identical
David's discovery,
to his.
the body count
Waiting.
rose to 6.
His gaze lingered on it.
But one set of
Then
initials
slowly,
on the dollhouse
he bent
still
down,
had no match.
picked it up. The
LB
screen lit up
Glass
instantly.
believed that LB
No
was
what?
someone recent,
No passcode.
someone
Just
closer
one
in
thing.
age to Rosie,
A video file.
or even after,
Timestamp.
someone they hadn't
2:17
uncovered
a.m.
yet.
Imran's hands
She
trembled.
requested forensic
He didn't press
scans of
play.
the entire house.
Not yet. Another
the walls
knock.
have secrets.
Louder this time. Imran.
While scanning the
voice
upstairs
said again.
hallway,
If
one
you don't
tech
open
noticed
this door,
something odd
things get
behind a
worse.
stretch of wall
A
near what
pause.
would have been the children's
Then,
bedrooms.
I don't have time to
The
wait.
wall, constructed
neither
in
do you.
1985
Imran
renovations,
swallowed hard.
had hollow space.
Time.
But no
Everything
reason
kept
for it
coming
to
back to
exist.
time. The
No
call.
crawl space.
The duplicate.
No plumbing.
The warning. He made a
A
decision.
demolition crew opened
Slowly,
the wall carefully.
He stepped out of the
What
bedroom.
they found inside
The apartment
shocked
felt
everyone.
different now.
A
Colder,
second, smaller
quieter.
hidden room.
Every
This
shadow
one
stretched
sealed
too
from
far.
the inside with
Every
rusted
sound
hinges
felt
and
too
nails.
loud.
No
He moved
windows,
down the hallway.
no doors.
One step at a time.
Inside was a
until he
child's
reached the
mattress,
front door.
blankets,
His hand
a
hovered
rusted
over the
chamber
lock.
pot.
Keep you
A
alive.
makeshift vent
He
punched
repeated under
through the
his breath.
ceiling into the attic,
Then,
and
he
carved
unlocked
into
it
the wall
and opened
over
the door.
and over again.
The man
were
standing
3
outside
letters.
didn't look dangerous.
LB,
Mid-40s,
LB,
clean shaven,
LB,
wearing
but no
a simple
body,
dark
no
jacket,
bones,
but
only
his
a
eyes,
name,
sharp,
scratched faintly
focused,
under a painted section
like he
of
already
wall.
knew everything.
Lily,
The man studied
help me,
Imran for a
please.
moment,
a
then
race
nodded
against
slightly.
time.
You look exactly
This
like I
changed
expected.
everything. Glass
Imran
knew
didn't
now there
respond.
might be a 7th victim
Who are you?
who wasn't dead,
The man glanced
or at
past
least
him
wasn't
briefly.
confirmed.
Into the apartment.
If Lily
We
was
shouldn't
kept in
talk
that
out
room,
here.
and if there were
Imran
no
immediately
remains,
stepped back.
it meant she
No.
may have been released.
You talk here or you don't
or
talk at
escaped.
all. The man
The
sighed.
timeline was unclear.
Fair enough.
But the
A
discovery
pause.
forced the
My
department
name is
to
Farid.
issue a statewide search
Imran
for
said
anyone
nothing.
matching.
Farid continued.
Female estimated
before
age
you ask,
40
yes.
to 45.
I know about the
Possibly
call.
named Lily B.
Imran's
or
heart
Lily
skipped.
Harlan lived
And
in
the thing
or
under
around
your bed,
Kalamazoo between
Farid added calmly.
1980 to 1990.
That was enough. Get inside.
No official birth
Imran man said
records.
quickly. Farad
Foster
stepped
systems,
in without
school
hesitation.
rosters,
The
even
door shut
hospital
behind him.
admittances were
Locked.
cross-referenced.
For a moment,
One name finally
neither of them
surfaced.
spoke. Then Imran
Lily
turned.
Beck, born
Stop
1981. was
Farid
taken in
nodded
as a
once.
ward of the state
You're in a
after
loop.
being found wandering
The
the
words
woods
landed
near
hard.
Allegan in
Imran
1992.
frowned. What?
No memory of
A
her
repeating
past.
sequence of events.
She had been placed
Farid
in
said.
long-term care
Centered
after being
around you.
diagnosed with trauma-induced
Centered around
amnesia.
2:17 a.m.
She now lived in a
Imran
group
shook
home
his
in
head.
Traverse City.
No,
Glass
that's
left
not.
that night.
You've lived this
Face
before.
to face, Lily Beck sat
Imran
quietly
stopped.
in the garden of
How
her
do you know
residential
that?
facility.
Farid's
Her
expression
eyes following a
darkened.
butterfly
Because
with
I've seen what
childlike
happens
wonder.
when it ends.
Detective
Silence.
Glass approached slowly,
Imran's chest tightened.
unsure of how much
Ends how?
Lily understood.
Farid didn't answer
The staff had
immediately.
warned her.
Instead,
Lily
he
had
looked at the
limited
phone in
verbal
Imran's
ability,
hand.
though
You
her
haven't
mind was
watched it
sharp
yet.
in unexpected
Imran
ways.
instinctively tightened his grip.
Lily,
Watched what?
Glass said gently,
Farid stepped closer.
showing her a photo
That
of the
video.
dollhouse.
Imran
Do
hesitated.
you remember this?
What is it?
Lily's eyes
Farid's
locked
voice
onto
lowered.
it.
Proof.
She reached out and
A
gently
long
tapped
pause.
the tiny roof,
Imran looked down at the
right
screen.
where her initials
The
had
file
been
was
carved.
still there, waiting.
She began to
If
hum.
I watch it, Imran
softly.
said slowly. Does
a
it change
tune
anything?
faint and broken.
Farid shook his head.
Glass froze.
No. A beat.
It was the
But
same
it makes
lullaby
things
Rosie
clearer.
had been recorded singing
Imran
on one
didn't
of
like
the
that
tapes.
answer, but he needed to
Lily
know.
looked up at her,
He tapped the screen.
and for the first time,
the video began.
spoke a full
Shaky
sentence.
footage. Dark.
Rosie
A room.
was my sister.
Familiar. Too familiar.
Detective Ellen Glass
It was his
sat
apartment,
across from Lily
but
Beck in a
different.
quiet room of
Messier.
the residential facility.
Something was wrong.
The moment
Then,
Lily said
the camera
Rosie was
shifted,
my sister,
And he saw
the
himself
entire investigation
standing
took
in
a
the middle
dramatic
of the
shift.
room,
For
breathing
months,
heavily,
Rosie had been the
covered in
tragic
blood.
centerpiece of
Imran
a cold
staggered
case
back.
turned serial
No.
investigation.
On the screen,
But now,
his other
a
self
survivor
looked
had emerged.
directly into the camera.
Someone who had
Eyes
lived
wide,
inside the walls,
desperate.
who had
If
breathed
anyone
the
finds
same
this,
damp secret air as
The
Rosie.
voice trembled.
And she
I
wasn't
didn't
just
mean
a
to
victim.
do it.
She
The
was
sound
family.
came from off-screen.
Glass
A weak,
steadied her
choking
voice.
noise. The camera
Lily,
turned. And
Can
there,
you tell me about
on the
Rosie?
floor, was a girl,
Lily's eyes
barely
shifted
moving,
toward the window,
blood pooling
where the
beneath
light
her.
filtered through
Imran's
trees.
stomach dropped.
She hummed the
Aisha,
lullaby again.
he whispered.
Then
The
she
name
whispered.
came without thinking,
She braided
because
my
now,
hair.
he remembered.
We made
Not
stories
clearly,
in the dark.
but enough.
That was
The
all
video
she said.
continued.
But it
I
was
tried
enough.
to stop it, his other self
Confirmation.
said. But it keeps
Back in
happening.
Kalamazoo, DNA
sudden
tests
noise.
were fast-tracked.
Behind him,
A hair
the
strand
camera
from
shook
Lily was
violently.
compared to samples
His other
recovered
self
from
turned,
Rosie's belongings.
eyes filled with terror.
Within 48
And then,
hours, the results
voice.
came back.
Cold.
99.94%
You shouldn't have answered.
sibling match.
The video cut.
Lily Beck
The
was
room
Lily
fell
Harlan,
silent.
the
Imran's
final
hands were
unconfirmed
shaking
child from the
uncontrollably.
dollhouse roof
I killed
carvings.
her.
Born
Farid
in
shook his head.
1981, just
No.
2 years
A
before
pause.
Rosie disappeared.
You're going to.
But
Imran
something
looked
didn't
up
fit.
sharply. No.
Lily was born after
Farid's
Rosie
voice
was
hardened.
hidden away in the room.
Yes.
Glass
Silence.
consulted with child
Imran backed away.
psychologists and legal
I
historians.
won't let that happen.
It became clear
Farid stepped forward.
Rosie may
You've
have
said
been
that
imprisoned
before.
first,
Imran
but
froze.
Lily had been born
What?
into that horror,
Farid looked him
raised
dead in the
within
eyes.
captivity.
Every time.
Her entire
chill
childhood
ran
spent
down Imran's
inside
spine.
walls, hidden
How many
from the
times?
world.
Farid
She
didn't
didn't
hesitate.
disappear.
23.
She simply never existed.
The number
on
hit
paper.
like a punch.
That
No.
made her survival all
Yes.
the more remarkable.
Farid gestured toward the phone.
Into the attic.
You always find it.
With Lily's memory
always
still
watch it.
fragile,
You always
Glass
try to
returned
change
the
it.
farmhouse.
A pause.
This time
And you
she
always
focused on
fail.
the attic.
Imran shook
Gregory
his
had
head
mentioned
violently.
David being kept
No.
there before Rosie.
This time is different.
If Lily had also
Farid's
been
expression
hidden,
softened
there
slightly.
had to be some record.
That's what you said last
something
time
tangible.
too. Silence.
Behind a
Imran's
false
breathing
panel,
became
they found
uneven.
it.
Then
A
why are
narrow
you here?
shelf built between
Farid
the joists,
hesitated.
filled
For the
with
first
spiral
time.
notebooks.
He didn't have an
Nearly
immediate
20 of
answer.
them, written
Because
in a
something
cramped,
changed,
obsessive
he said
scrawl.
finally.
The
Imran's eyes
initials
narrowed.
R.H.
What?
Rosie Harlan
Farid looked at
were
him
on the
carefully.
inside of each
You
front
remembered
cover.
her sooner.
The notebooks
That
were
landed
diaries,
differently.
pages and pages of
Farid's
entries
voice
written
dropped.
in isolation.
That's never happened before.
Lily's hair is
A
soft.
sudden noise interrupted
She asked
them.
why we don't go
From
outside.
the bedroom. A
I
soft
told her this is
creak.
where we live.
Both of them
She
froze.
cried.
Slowly,
I sang to her.
they turned. The
Sarah
hallway
says
stretched
I'm too
ahead.
loud.
Dark,
I think she hurt Lily.
silent,
I
but
saw
something
bruises.
had changed.
I'll hide
The
her
bedroom
when I
door
can.
was open wider
We heard
now.
a dog barking.
And inside,
I pressed
the shadows
Lily's hand
were
to the
moving.
vent so she'd feel
Farid's
it.
voice dropped to a whisper.
I told her the world is
It's
real.
early.
She didn't
Imran's
believe
heart
me.
pounded. What is?
The entries ended
Farid
abruptly
didn't look
in
at him.
1991.
His eyes were locked on the
Glass
darkness.
could hardly breathe
Whatever
as she
kills
flipped
her.
through them.
A pause.
They didn't just confirm
It's already
the abuse.
here.
They confirmed
From inside the
intent,
bedroom, a
calculation,
voice echoed out.
generational
soft,
cruelty.
Familiar.
Rosie
Imran's
had been
voice.
mothering Lily while
You
they
shouldn't
were
have
both
opened
prisoners.
the door.
The
The voice
cover-up,
came from the
everything
bedroom.
about the case
Clear.
now pointed to Sarah
Calm.
Harlan,
Wrong.
the enforcer
You shouldn't have have
the
opened the
controller,
door.
the surviving
Imran
daughter
felt the
who had
blood
somehow
drain from
evaded
his
the
face.
spotlight during the
Beside
family's
him,
disintegration.
Farid didn't move, didn't breathe.
She'd moved out of Michigan
like he already
in the late
knew
90s
what was coming.
and changed her last
Stay
name.
behind me, Farid
It took
whispered.
2 days to find
Imran
her.
didn't argue. For the
She
first
was living
time,
in Arizona
he
under the
didn't
name
try to
Sarah
take
Lennon,
control.
married
Because
to the
something
very
inside
same
him
retired
understood.
officer Charles
Whatever
Lennon,
was in that room
who had dismissed
was
Rosie's
not
case
something
in
you faced
1981.
alone. The hallway stretched ahead
The
of him,
connection finally
longer
came
than it
full
should have
circle.
been, darker
Sarah
than it
had
should have
married
been.
the cop who buried
Farad
the
reached
case.
into his jacket slowly,
The arrest glass
pulled out
coordinated
something
with
small,
Arizona authorities
metallic,
for a surprise
a
visit.
device. Imran frowned.
At 6:15
What is that?
a.m., officers
Farad didn't
arrived
look
at a
back.
small adobe house
Something I
outside
should have
of
used the
Flagstaff.
first time.
Sarah
That
answered
didn't
the
make
door
Imran
with bleary
feel better.
eyes, clutching
They
a
moved
robe.
forward.
Glass
Step
stepped
by step,
forward, badge
the air
out.
grew colder. Not
Sarah
normal
Harlan,
cold.
she said.
Heavy.
You're
pressing,
under arrest for the
like
kidnapping,
the apartment itself
unlawful
was
imprisonment,
resisting them.
and murder
The
of
bedroom
multiple
door stood
children
open,
in Kalamazoo
wider
County,
than
Michigan.
before. Inside,
Sarah didn't
darkness.
protest.
Not
She
shadows,
smiled.
not lack of
I
light.
was wondering when you'd
Something
come.
thicker, alive.
The
Farad
interrogation.
stopped at the threshold. This is
In
where
the
it always
interview room,
starts.
Sarah
he
remained
murmured.
disturbingly
Imran's
calm.
voice trembled.
She requested
What
coffee,
is it?
drank it slowly,
Farad finally
and
answered.
answered every question
It's you.
with an unnerving flatness.
Silence. Imran's
Glass
stomach
leaned in.
dropped. No.
Why did you imprison
Farad
Rosie?
turned slightly.
Why did
Not
you
exactly
kill David?
you. A
Sarah
pause,
blinked.
but close enough.
Because they were weak.
From inside
They
the room,
cried.
a
They
shape
asked
moved.
questions.
Slowly,
Weakness
stepping
spreads
forward,
like mold.
into the faint light.
And Lily?
Imran's breath caught.
Lily was
It was him,
an accident.
but not like before.
Mom said she was a
Not
punishment,
just pale,
but
not
Rosie
just
wouldn't
wrong.
let her grow up right.
This version
She
was
protected
broken,
her, lied
cracked,
for her,
like a
loved her.
reflection shattered
I
and
was
put
trying to
back
fix
together
that.
incorrectly.
Glass
Its
narrowed
movements
her
were
eyes.
unnatural,
Did you
too
kill
smooth
Rosie?
in some places,
Sarah's
too
lips
jerky in
twitched.
others. Its
Number
head
Rosie
tilted
died
slightly.
on her own.
Eyes locked
She
onto
stopped
Imran.
eating.
You
She
brought
gave
him
everything
again,
to Lily.
it said
Her
softly.
strength,
Its
her
voice
body,
echoed,
her hope.
layered.
I didn't
Multiple
need to kill her.
versions of the same
She
voice
did it
speaking
herself.
at once.
The
Farad
final
stepped
tape.
forward. This
Back
ends
at the
now.
house, one
The
final
thing
tape
smiled.
was found behind a
It
wall
didn't look
panel
human
in the hidden
anymore.
room.
You've said
It
that.
was dated August
it whispered.
14th,
23
1991.
times.
The
Farad
screen
didn't
flickered
flinch,
to life,
but Imran
showing
did.
Rosie,
Because it
thin,
knew.
pale,
It knew
her
everything.
hair in braids,
Imran
eyes
stepped
bright
forward
despite
before
the
he could
squalor.
stop himself.
She
Why
looked
are
into
you
the
doing
camera
this?
and spoke.
The thing turned its gaze
If you're
fully
watching
toward
this,
him. For a
then
moment,
I didn't make it.
it looked almost
But maybe
curious.
Lily did.
Doing.
Maybe
it
she found the
repeated.
vent,
A pause.
or the door,
I'm not doing anything.
or maybe someone finally
Its
cared
smile
enough to
widened.
look.
I'm just
Lily is
finishing what
strong.
you started.
She deserves
The words
sun.
hit harder than anything
Please
else.
let her have it.
What I started.
The
The
screen
thing
cut
nodded
to black.
slowly. You opened
Closure,
the door.
and not Rosie's
beat.
body was never
You
recovered.
answered the call.
Despite
Another step
excavation,
forward.
sonar,
You made
and even
me.
drone-based ground
Imran
scans
staggered
of
back.
the entire Harlan
No,
property
that's not.
and nearby woods,
It is.
no remains were
Farad
ever
raised
found.
the device in his hand.
Gregory
Don't
insisted
listen to
she
it.
died quietly.
The thing's
in her
head
bed.
snapped toward him. Its
She held
expression
Lily's hand,
darkened.
he said.
You don't belong
I
here,
buried her
it said.
beneath the trees.
Farad's voice was steady.
I just don't remember
I've been
where.
here longer than you.
I was too
The
broken.
thing laughed.
A memorial
A
was
distorted,
erected on the property.
broken sound.
7 stones
No.
in a circle,
A pause.
one for each
I've been
victim.
here first. The room shifted.
One stone remained
The
blank,
walls
carved
moved.
only with the
Just
initials
slightly.
RH.
But enough.
Lily attended the
Enough
ceremony.
to make reality feel unstable.
She held a sunflower
Imran
in
grabbed
one
his
hand,
head.
and one of
Memories
Rosie's
flooded
notebooks in the other.
Not his. Not
She
fully.
didn't speak,
Different
but
versions.
when the wind rustled
Different
the trees,
outcomes.
she
Him trying to
smiled.
stop something. Him
The
failing.
Harlan farmhouse
Again.
was scheduled for
And
demolition.
again. And again.
Too many bodies,
Make it stop.
too many memories,
Imran shouted.
too much
Farad
darkness
stepped
soaked
closer.
into its foundations.
You need to focus. The
After
thing moved
multiple
faster now.
exhumations, arrests,
Closing the
and
distance.
media storms,
You can't
the
stop
county
it.
deemed it
It whispered.
unsalvageable.
You never could.
But before
Farad
the wrecking
activated
crews
the
moved
device.
in,
A sharp
Detective
sound
Ellen
filled the
Glass
room.
received one final
High-pitched.
request
Piercing.
from Lily
The
Beck.
thing recoiled slightly.
She wanted
For
to
the
go
first
back,
time.
not
It reacted.
alone, and not
Imran
for long,
noticed.
just
That
long
hurts
enough
it.
to stand in the
Farad
place she
nodded
once
quickly.
thought was the entire
It disrupts
world.
the loop. The thing hissed.
Glass arranged
form
for a
flickering.
quiet, supervised
You think
visit.
this matters?
No
It
cameras,
snapped.
no press,
A pause.
only Lily,
You still end
2
up there.
caseworkers, and
The
Glass
lights flickered
herself.
violently. The room
Returning to
twisted.
the room,
And suddenly,
the
they
door
weren't
to
in
the
the
hidden room
apartment
had been
anymore.
removed and
Imran
stored as
gasped.
evidence.
They stood in
Now,
a different place.
the gaping square
A
in the
room.
living room floor
Cold.
stood exposed.
Dimly lit.
A
And in
narrow
the center,
wooden stairwell
a body.
descended into still
Aisha,
air, heavy
on
with
the
mildew
floor,
and memory.
bleeding. Barely
Lily stood
alive.
at the top of the steps,
Imran froze.
trembling.
No. The
Glass
thing
offered her
stood
a
beside
hand.
her now. Watching
You don't
him.
have to go down.
This is where it ends.
But Lily
it said
did.
softly.
She
Farad
descended
grabbed
one
Imran's
step at a
arm.
time,
This
her
isn't
knuckles
real.
white against the
But
handrail.
it felt real.
When
Too
she
real.
reached the room, she
Aisha's
stopped
eyes
in
eyes
the
fluttered
doorway.
open. She
Her
looked
eyes
at him.
scanned the place she
Imran,
had once lived.
she whispered weakly.
The pink walls
His
now
heart
stripped
shattered.
of wallpaper.
I'm here,
The bed
he said,
frame rusted.
stepping forward.
The air heavy
Farid
with
pulled
rot.
him back. Don't.
She walked
The
slowly
thing
to the
smiled.
corner near the bookshelf
Go on,
and
it
knelt.
said. Tried to
With
save
a
her.
shaking finger,
Imran
She traced a
hesitated.
faint line on the
Because
wall.
he remembered now.
L
This
plus R
moment.
equals sunlight.
This choice.
It
Every
read.
time. He did the
Lily
same
closed
thing.
her eyes.
And every time.
She remembered.
It led to her death.
The secrets
What
of
do
the
I do?
floor before demolition.
Imran whispered.
Ellen requested
Farid's
one
voice was
final
urgent.
ground scan beneath
You don't
the
follow
secret
the
room's
pattern.
foundation.
The thing's smile
She
faded
had a hunch.
slightly. Careful,
Rosie's body
it
hadn't
said.
been found above
You're learning.
or in the woods.
Imran closed
But what
his
if
eyes.
Gregory, scared
thinking,
of discovery,
for the first
buried her
time,
beneath the place
not
she
reacting,
loved most?
not panicking.
A place
Then,
she believed Lily
he
might
stepped
one
back,
day escape from.
away from Aisha. The thing
This time,
froze.
They
What are
scanned
you doing?
deeper, past
Imran
the
opened
false
his
base
eyes.
and
Calm
below
now.
the concrete piers.
I'm not playing your version anymore.
The radar beeped.
A shift.
6
Something
feet below
changed.
the northwest
The
corner
room
of the
trembled.
hidden room,
The loop.
there was a cavity.
Cracked. Farid
The
smiled
crew
slightly.
excavated carefully,
Finally.
and within
But the
2
thing,
hours,
it wasn't
unearthed
smiling
a small
anymore.
wooden box.
Its
wrapped in
expression
plastic.
twisted into something darker.
Inside
You
were
think that
fabric
changes
remnants,
anything?
a gold
It
necklace,
said.
and
Imran
skeletal
didn't
remains.
answer. He just stood
Dental
still,
records
unmoving,
matched against
breaking
Rosie's
the pattern.
childhood dental visits
And for the
from
first time,
1977
the thing looked uncertain.
confirmed the truth.
Because this had
Rosie
never
Harlan
happened before.
had been found.
The moment Imran
The
stepped
news
back,
breaks again.
everything changed. Not
the media
slowly,
swarmed once
not
more.
gradually.
Final
Instantly,
victim of the Harlan
the air in
family
the room
discovered
cracked
beneath
like glass
secret
under
room
pressure.
blared
A
across
deep,
national headlines.
distorted sound echoed,
News vans
like
crowded
reality
the property
itself
for
tearing
days.
apart.
Everyone
The walls
wanted
began
the image.
to warp.
The
The
angel
floor
of
beneath
the
his
floor,
feet rippled like
the
water.
girl who had sacrificed
Aisha's
her life
body
to shield her sister.
flickered. There 1 second.
Rosie's photo,
Gone the next.
red hair,
Farid
gap-toothed
staggered
smile,
slightly.
became
This
iconic.
isn't right, he muttered.
People demanded
The
justice,
thing,
memorials,
the broken version of
documentaries.
Imran, stared at
Glass
him,
ignored them all.
not with anger,
She wasn't
not with
interested
fear,
in selling a
but
story.
with something worse.
She was interested
Confusion.
in finishing
You
it.
weren't supposed to do that.
The final
it
charges
whispered.
with Rosie's
Imran
remains
didn't
recovered.
respond.
The
He stood
prosecution
still,
had its final
breathing
nail.
slowly. For the
Combined
first
with
time,
diaries, photos,
he wasn't reacting
forensic
to it.
evidence,
He was
and Lily's
choosing.
testimony.
The room
even
twisted
limited.
violently.
The case
The
against
version
Sarah
of
Harlan
Aisha on the
became
floor
airtight.
dissolved into static,
She was charged with
like a corrupted video
5
file.
counts of
Then,
first-degree murder,
everything went
2
dark.
counts of kidnapping
Silence.
and unlawful
Total.
imprisonment,
Absolute.
conspiracy to
Imran
cover
blinked.
up child abuse
He was
and
back
deaths,
in his apartment.
accessory
standing
to
in his
murder
bedroom.
in the deaths of
The
David,
lights were on.
Maya, and
The
Rosie
bed,
Charles Lenning,
normal.
her
The
husband
floor,
and former
empty.
officer,
No
was
body.
charged with conspiracy,
blood.
obstruction
No
of
thing under
justice,
the bed.
and
We're
tampering
back,
with evidence.
Imran whispered.
He pled not
Farid
guilty,
didn't answer.
but after
Imran
just 2
turned
weeks in county
and
jail,
felt his stomach drop.
he was found dead
Farid
by
was gone.
suicide in his
The
cell.
apartment was empty.
His final
Completely.
note read,
No.
"I told myself I
Imran
didn't
rushed
know,
into the hallway.
but I
Farid.
knew."
Nothing.
Rosie's
He
room
checked the living
reconstructed.
room. The kitchen.
In the months
front door,
following the trial,
locked.
a group of
From the
trauma
inside.
therapists, survivors,
possible.
and child advocacy
Panic
workers
crept in again.
launched a project
No.
in Rosie's
He
honor.
forced it down.
They called
Stay
it
focused.
the Hidden Room
That's
Project,
what Farid had said.
a touring
Don't
installation
follow the pattern.
designed to replicate
Imran
the
took a
room
deep
Rosie
breath.
lived in,
Something
based
had
on crime
changed.
scene photos
He
and
could
diary
feel it.
entries.
The loop.
But with
It
one
wasn't
key
gone.
difference.
But it wasn't the
Visitors
same
exit
anymore.
through a door
A
Rosie
faint buzz
never
broke
had.
the silence.
One marked
Imran
with sunlight.
froze. Slowly,
The exhibit
he looked
served
toward
2
the bedroom.
purposes.
His phone.
Education,
It was ringing.
highlighting the
He walked
dangers
back
of
slowly,
isolation,
each
the
step
flaws
cautious.
in the child welfare
The phone
system,
sat on the bed.
and the importance
Screen
of
glowing.
investigating missing
Incoming
children
call.
thoroughly.
But this time,
Memorial,
it wasn't his number.
honoring
It was a
Rosie,
name.
David, and the
Aisha.
others who didn't
Imran's
survive.
breath stopped. No,
Lily was
his
present
hand
at the
trembled
ribbon
as he
cutting
picked
in
it up.
Kalamazoo.
This wasn't supposed to happen.
She stood silently
This had never
as
happened
a choir
before.
of children sang
He answered.
Rosie's favorite song.
Hello. Silence.
You are my
Then,
sunshine.
a soft voice.
She cried,
Imran.
and for the first time,
His chest tightened.
she didn't hide
It was her. Alive.
The house falls on a
Aisha.
cold, overcast
A pause.
morning.
Then,
Bulldozers
where are
arrived at
you?
the Harlan property.
The question sent a chill down
Lily
his
didn't
spine.
attend.
I'm
but
home,
she asked
he
Glass
said
to
slowly.
bring her a piece of the
Another
door.
pause.
Just
That's
a
not
sliver.
possible, she
A
whispered.
reminder that she
Something
had
was
lived
wrong.
and escaped
Very wrong.
and survived.
What do you mean?
As the first wall
A
crumbled,
breathing quickened.
a burst
I
of
just
dust
saw you.
shot upward
Imran
like
froze.
a spirit breaking
What?
free.
I just saw you.
The last
she
thing to
repeated.
fall was
A
the
tremor
secret
in her
room's
voice.
foundation.
You were outside
And
my
with it,
building.
The final
His
remnant
heart began
of what
to
had
pound
once
again.
been Rosie's
Oh
prison
no, I'm
and
here.
Lily's cradle.
I haven't. You
a
were
new
there,
life Lily
she
Beck
insisted.
began therapy
And you
in
were
earnest
acting
after that.
strange.
With
Imran's grip
professional
tightened
help,
on the phone.
Her memory slowly
What did I
returned,
do?
fragment
Silence.
by fragment.
Then, you told
She
me to
remembered
run.
a birthday.
The words
She
hit like a
remembered Rosie
shockwave.
teaching her to read
Run.
with picture books.
Her voice dropped
She
to a
remembered
whisper.
pretending the
You
ceiling
said,
vent was a window
"Don't
to
open
the
the door."
stars.
Imran's
But most
blood
of
ran
all,
cold.
She remembered
Because that
feeling
wasn't a
loved,
warning.
not by
It
her
was a
parents,
reversal.
not by
Aisha,
Sarah,
he said
but
urgently.
by Rosie,
Listen to me.
fiercely.
A loud noise interrupted
Unconditionally.
her. A door slamming.
She began
On
writing,
her end.
first with
His hair.
assistance,
she whispered.
then on her own.
Imran's heart stopped.
Her memoir,
Who?
Rosie's Light,
Silence.
would go on to become
Then,
a bestseller.
A breath. You.
She ended it with the same
line
words
went
Rosie
dead.
spoke on the final
Imran
tape.
stood frozen.
Maybe
the phone
someone
slowly
finally
lowered
cared
from his
enough to
ear.
look.
No, no.
Just when
that's
Detective
not.
Ellen Glass thought
But
the
it
case
was,
had reached its
because
conclusion,
something had changed.
a call came
The
from
loop
the
didn't
evidence
just break.
archives.
It split.
A box,
Now there were two
misfiled,
versions.
mislabeled,
One here,
and nearly discarded,
and one out there,
had been
and
found
only
in
one
the
of them
basement of the county
was trying to
sheriff's
save
office.
her. A sudden
It had
crash
been
echoed
retrieved
from
during
outside,
the original Harlan
from the
property
street
search,
below.
but had never
Imran
been
rushed to
properly
the window,
cataloged.
looked down.
Inside
his
were
heart
8
stopped.
cassette tapes,
A crowd was
each
forming.
labeled with only
People
a date.
gathering around something.
The earliest,
A body,
February 2nd,
lying on the ground.
1983.
Imran's hands began
The
to
latest,
shake.
July
No.
9th, 1991.
Even from that distance, he
Glass
recognized the
ordered
clothes.
a secure playback setup in
recognized
the
the
forensic
face.
media room.
It was him,
The contents,
his body,
she suspected,
broken on the
might be grim,
pavement. And as
but
the
they
crowd
could also be
stared,
vital.
the body's eyes
What they
slowly
revealed
opened
changed
and looked
everything.
directly up at
Again.
him. Smiling,
Tape 1,
Imran couldn't breathe.
instructions.
His hands were pressed against
The
the
first
window.
tape was
His
purely
reflection
audio.
stared back at
A
him.
man's voice,
But beyond
low,
it
firm,
was something
eerily
worse.
calm,
His own
spoke
body,
into the recording.
lying broken on the pavement
This
below.
will serve as proof
Neck
of instruction.
twisted at an unnatural
The girl
angle.
will remain
Blood
downstairs
pooling
until she
beneath him.
learns.
And yet,
You are not to
those
engage
eyes,
unless necessary.
open, alive,
Sarah, this is your
watching,
duty.
smiling.
You are the strong one.
Imran staggered back from the
Glass
window.
froze.
No, no,
The voice
no,
belonged
no.
to Walter Harlan,
That
the
wasn't
family
possible.
patriarch.
He was here.
Rosie
standing,
must be broken of her
breathing.
will.
So
She
what the hell
speaks
was
too
that?
much.
A
She asks too
hallucination?
much.
Another illusion?
If she is to be of use,
but
she
deep
must
down,
obey.
he knew.
There was no
it wasn't
remorse,
fake.
no
it was
conflict,
real. The
just
loop hadn't
cold
reset.
doctrine.
It had split.
It was clear now.
A sudden knock echoed through
Rosie's
the apartment.
imprisonment wasn't a
Loud,
spontaneous act
violent.
of abuse.
Imran
It
froze.
was systematic and
Not
carefully
again.
constructed.
The knocking came
A
faster
belief
now.
system rooted in
Aggressive.
dominance, control,
Imran.
and religious
The
extremism.
voice shouted from the other side.
Tape 2,
And this time,
Disobedience.
there was no mistaking it.
The next
was
recording
him.
was from 3 months
Imran's
later.
chest
A
tightened.
scuffle,
The
muffled
door
cries.
rattled under the force
Then
of the blows.
a young girl's voice.
Opened the door.
Rosie's, trying to
The
reason.
voice was desperate,
I'm sorry.
panicked.
I just wanted to
But
see the
underneath,
sky. Please,
there was
I'll be
something
good.
else. Something
Then
wrong.
came a slap.
Imran backed
A
away
woman's
slowly.
voice, sharp and
No,
cold.
I'm not opening
Sarah,
that. The
you don't
knocking
get to make
stopped
wishes.
instantly.
You're a
Silence.
sinner. You
Thick.
stay here until
Then,
you're fixed.
A soft chuckle.
The tape
low,
ended with the sound
distorted.
of Rosie softly
Good,
singing to
the
herself.
voice said quietly.
The same
You're
lullaby.
learning. Imran's
Glass
stomach
clenched her
dropped.
fists.
That wasn't
Every
panic
inch
anymore.
of this case
That was
revealed a
control.
deeper evil.
The handle of the door
Tape
began
3.
to turn.
Arrival.
Slowly, deliberately.
This recording was
Imran's
the most
eyes
disturbing
widened.
so far.
It's locked.
Footsteps
he
echoed on
whispered.
wooden stairs.
The handle
a baby
kept turning.
crying.
Then,
Then Sarah's voice
Stop.
hushed.
Another
Shh.
chuckle. Locks don't matter,
I know.
the voice said.
It's cold
A
down
shadow
here.
slid under the door.
She'll take care of you.
Not light,
Rosie
not
knows what to do.
darkness. Something in between.
Then Rosie, her voice
Something
much
that
older
moved
now,
on
shocked.
its own.
Who
Imran
is she?
stumbled backward.
Your sister.
The shadow stretched across
name's
the
Lily.
floor, crawling
Don't let her
toward
forget
him,
who you are.
against the
The
direction
crying
of the light,
continued.
against
Rosie,
logic. No,
What am I supposed to do?
the shadow reached his feet
Sarah,
and stopped.
be her mother,
For a moment,
or she dies.
it didn't move.
The tape
Then,
clicked off.
it began to rise,
Tape 4.
like smoke,
Visitors.
taking shape.
Glass's
forming
eyes narrowed as she
into
played
him.
the 4th tape.
The other Imran stood
This
there
one
now,
included a voice she
Perfect.
recognized.
unharmed,
A child welfare
no
officer
broken
from the
bones,
1980s.
no blood, just him.
Glass pulled
but
old
different.
records and confirmed
The
it.
eyes, too
James
still,
Meade,
too
who had
empty.
conducted a welfare
They
check
stared
on
at
the
each
Harlan
other.
property in
A perfect
1986
One
after a
breathing,
neighbor's complaint
one
about screaming.
not. You look
But
scared,
according to the records,
the other Imran said.
he had found
His voice was
nothing
calm.
suspicious.
Too calm. I
On
would
the
be
tape,
too.
Walter Harlan
Imran's
greets
throat
him
tightened.
warmly.
What are you?
Just the little ones today.
The other version smiled
Gregory's
faintly.
off at school.
I'm what happens
Rosie's
when you
visiting
stop
relatives.
running. A pause.
The man's voice
I'm
was
what you
casual,
become when you
distracted.
accept it.
There were no sounds
Imran
of
shook
searching,
his head.
just coffee
No,
being poured.
I'm not like you.
Then Walter,
The other
barely
Imran
audible,
tilted
murmurs,
his head.
God
Not yet.
watches when the world
Silence.
doesn't.
Imran's fists
Meade.
clenched.
That
You
he
killed
does,
her.
Mr. Harlan.
The other
That he
Imran
does.
didn't react.
The
For a
tape
moment,
ends.
he just stared.
The pattern of
Then,
protection
he
glass
nodded.
couldn't shake the
Yes.
horror. Over
The
the
word
years,
hit harder than anything
5
else.
different state and
Imran
county
stepped forward
employees
suddenly.
visited the Harlan home.
Why?
All
The other
left
Imran
without
didn't
incident.
flinch.
None
Instead,
filed follow-up
he stepped
reports.
closer too,
Were they
until they were
coerced?
inches apart.
Or just lazy?
Because she opened the door,
Or worse,
he said quietly.
complicit?
Imran froze. What?
She launched a quiet
The other Imran's
investigation
eyes
into
darkened.
surviving employees.
She always
from that
opens
era.
it. A pause.
What she found
She always
was a
trusts
network
you.
of apathy,
Something
reinforced
clicked.
by Walter's
The
community
warning.
power and
Don't open the
influence.
door.
A respected
wasn't
church
for him.
leader, he
It
held
was for
leverage
her.
through donations
Imran's breath caught.
local favors,
You're the one who
even
goes to
police
her.
endorsements.
The other
They had
Imran
built
smiled.
a house of secrets.
Every time.
And everyone
Imran
helped
staggered
keep it
back.
standing.
No.
Tape 5.
Yes.
Escape
The other
attempt.
Imran's voice dropped.
This one
And
hurt
now,
to listen
there's
to.
two of us.
Rosie's
Silence.
voice. Panicked.
Imran felt the
panting.
weight of that.
She's sick.
Two versions.
She has a fever.
Two
I
paths.
need medicine. Please.
One
I
outcome.
think she's dying.
Then I'll get to her first,
Then Sarah,
Imran said.
cold and
The other
unmoved.
Imran's smile widened.
You'll figure it out.
That's what you think.
Pause.
A pause.
A thud.
Then,
Then Rosie
the other
screams.
Imran leaned closer.
I'll get out.
Whispered,
I'll tell them. I
"You're
swear
already
to God,
too late."
I will.
A sudden
Then
ringing
silence.
cut through the room.
The tape ends.
Imran's phone.
Glass could
Both of them
almost
looked
hear
at
the
it.
iron door
The screen
slamming
lit
shut.
up.
Tape
Aisha
6.
calling.
The
Imran
confession.
moved instantly.
July
But the other
1991.
Imran was faster.
Rosie
He
sounds
grabbed
weak.
the phone first.
Her voice is faint.
Answered it.
Her words slow.
"Hello," he said
I
calmly.
don't have long.
Imran lunged
I've stopped
forward.
eating.
"No,"
I gave Lily my
but he
soup.
was too late.
I couldn't
He
keep
could
it
hear her
down anyway.
voice faintly through the speaker.
She coughs.
"Imran,
If
I
someone
don't
ever
feel
finds
safe."
this,
The other
please don't
Imran's
let her grow
smile
up in
deepened.
here.
"You should open
I
the
tried.
door," he said
I
softly.
tried to be enough.
Imran's heart stopped.
I'm sorry, Lily.
"No, don't
sorry
listen
I
to
couldn't
him,"
be more.
he shouted. But she
The
couldn't
tape
hear him.
hisses for several
"Okay,"
minutes.
Aisha's
Then the
voice
last
whispered.
words.
Click.
I hope you
The
find
call
the sun.
ended. Silence.
Tape 7.
Heavy.
Sarah's
Final.
diary.
Imran
This
stared at
final
the other
recording
version of
wasn't made
himself.
by Rosie.
"What did you
It
do?"
was Sarah.
The other
She had
Imran
recorded
looked at him
herself
calmly.
sometime in
"I finished
1992.
it." A
After
long
Rosie's
pause.
death
Then,
and before Lily's
in the
escape.
distance, faint,
She's gone.
a scream.
I buried
Aisha.
her with the doll.
Imran's world
The
shattered.
little one doesn't
He
understand
dropped to
yet.
his knees.
I'll
No,
break her
no,
the way I couldn't break
no.
Rosie.
The
This
other
time,
Imran
no
watched him
stories,
quietly.
no songs,
Then said
just
something that
silence.
froze his blood completely.
Then she whispers
"It
something
still
chilling.
counts." Imran
The Lord
looked up
cleanses
slowly.
those who are willing.
"What?" The other
others,
Imran's expression turned
He
cold.
discards.
"The loop doesn't care which
Glass
one of
turned
us
the
does
tape
it.
off.
A
There was
beat.
no remorse.
As long as
no
she
regret.
dies."
Only
The
ideology.
lights flickered. Reality trembled
Faith
again.
twisted into a
And
weapon.
now, the other Imran
The missing
whispered,
8th tape.
"There's no going back."
Only
The scream
7
didn't
tapes had
stop.
been reviewed.
Even after the
But the
call
box
ended.
was labeled
Even
8
after the
tapes.
room went silent.
Glass searched
Imran
the
still
evidence
heard
locker
it,
records and
echoing
found a discrepancy.
inside his head.
The 8th tape
Aisha.
had been logged.
He staggered
and then
backward,
removed.
shaking. "No,
Signed out by a
I can
former
still
deputy
fix
in
this."
2005.
The other Imran watched
He'd never
him quietly.
returned it.
No emotion.
The deputy's name?
No urgency.
Stephen
Just
Marks.
patience.
He
That's
died
the
in
problem, he
2011.
said calmly.
But his
Imran looked
personal
up,
belongings,
eyes wild.
boxed and
"What?"
stored in county archives,
The other Imran tilted his
had
head.
never been thoroughly
"You still
cataloged.
think this is about saving her?"
Glass requested
Silence.
access.
Imran's
A
chest
glimmer of
tightened.
hope.
"It is."
Among the old
A faint
boxes
smile.
of uniforms and
"No,"
photos,
the other
she found a
Imran said
plastic
softly.
VHS case.
"It never was."
Inside
Those
was the
words
final
didn't
tape,
make sense.
unlabeled,
They
unmarked.
couldn't make sense.
Glass
Then what is
popped
it
into
about?
the player.
Imran
The
demanded.
screen flickered to
The
life.
other Imran stepped closer.
It showed Lily,
Choice.
maybe 10 years
A
old,
pause.
curled up under
Yours.
blankets in the hidden room.
Imran shook his head.
And beside her,
"No,
a figure
this
lay
is about you
motionless.
killing her. About
Rosie.
stopping you.
But then,
You still don't get it."
movement.
The other Imran's voice sharpened.
Lily stirred,
"I am not the
climbed to her
problem.
knees,
A
crawled
beat.
to the vent.
You are."
She pressed her hands to
Imran
it.
froze.
She
The
whispered,
words sank in.
I'll find the
Slowly.
door.
Painfully.
And then the camera
No.
slowly tilted upward
The other Imran
toward
leaned
a
in.
sliver of ceiling
Yes.
light.
A long
Rosie had
silence
filmed it.
filled the room.
Her final
Then,
gift.
the world
Proof
shifted
of Lily's
again.
will to survive.
The apartment blurred. Faded.
Ellen Glass had
Reformed.
solved murders before.
Imran blinked.
She had
He was
tracked
standing
serial
somewhere
killers,
else now.
exposed
A hallway.
cover-ups, cracked
Narrow.
cold cases
Dimly
left
lit.
in moldy
And at
cardboard
the end,
boxes for
a
decades.
door. He knew this
But this
place.
was different.
Even before his mind
Rosie's
caught
story
up.
wasn't just
His
about
body
one
remembered.
broken family
Aisha's
or one
apartment.
hidden room.
Imran's breath
It was
caught.
about how many
No,
people
no,
looked away.
not again. The other
As the
Imran stood
investigation
beside him
deepened,
now.
the fallout
Calm.
widened.
Watching.
Ellen realized
always
the
comes
Harlan
back to
family
this,
had
he
succeeded
said.
not because they
At
were
the end
cunning,
of the hallway,
but because
the door
the
creaked
system
open
let them.
slightly. A thin
And
line
now,
of light spilled
she
out.
intended to
And
dismantle
from
that
inside,
system,
Aisha's
piece
voice.
by piece.
Imran.
The
Imran's
staff
heart
who
broke
knew
all
over
over
40
again.
interviews were
She was
conducted
alive.
with former
Right
Michigan
now.
Child
In
Protective
this
Service
moment.
workers,
"I'm here,"
local
he
officers,
shouted,
and
rushing
school
forward.
officials from the
But the other
1980s
Imran
and
grabbed
early
his arm.
90s.
Hard.
At least
Stop.
6 admitted to either,
Imran struggled.
filing
Let go of
incomplete
me.
reports,
The other Imran's
ignoring
grip
warning
tightened.
signs,
You open
trusting
that
Walter
door,
Harlan's
she
good
dies.
standing in the church
Imran froze.
and Community One.
What? The
Marjorie
other Imran
Neely,
leaned
now in her
closer.
late 70s,
This is the rule.
broke down during questioning.
Silence. The loop doesn't
I
care how
remember
it happens.
seeing bruises on
he
the oldest
continued.
girl.
It doesn't care
Sarah.
who does it. A
I thought
pause.
maybe it was just a
But it
strict
always ends
household.
the same way.
I should have asked
Imran's
more.
voice dropped to a whisper.
I should have fought harder.
Then how do I stop it?
Ellen
the first
stared her
time,
down.
The other
But
Imran
you didn't.
hesitated. Then,
Marjorie
he
wept.
answered. You
Number
don't.
I didn't.
The words
And now
landed like like
those
a death
children are
sentence.
bones in the dirt.
Imran shook his head slowly.
The foster
No,
system
there has
loophole
to be a
state
way.
investigators found
The other
glaring
Imran's
gaps
eyes
in the
darkened.
foster care pipeline
There is.
that allowed Walter
beat.
and Anne Harlan to
But you
house
won't like
children
it.
like David DJ,
Imran stared at him.
the earliest known
Tell me.
victim. without
The other
proper
Imran turned toward
documentation.
the door. Toward Aisha.
Old records
Then
show
back
that
at
in
him.
1971,
One of you has to die.
a fire destroyed a
Everything
state
stopped.
archive warehouse.
Imran's mind went
Dozens
blank.
of adoption and
What?
foster files were lost.
The other Imran didn't blink.
Several children
If
were
both
then
of us
placed
exist,
informally
the loop
with
continues.
families by overwhelmed
A pause.
caseworkers.
If one of us is gone,
Walter Harlan had
let
personally
the
signed
sentence
for
hang.
DJ, but
Imran's
no
chest
follow-ups were ever
tightened.
made.
then what?
No school records.
The answer came quietly.
No medical history.
Then it ends.
Not a single
Silence.
welfare check after
Imran looked at the door.
1973.
He could hear her moving
It was as
inside,
if David had vanished
waiting,
the moment he entered
trusting.
the house.
Then he looked back
The
at the other
Financial
version
Trail
of
Glass
himself.
requested all
You expect
available
me to
tax
believe
and
that?
donation records
A faint
connected to the
smile.
Harlan's church.
You already do.
Second Elm Pentecostal.
Imran clenched his fists.
A tight-knit,
Why haven't you
powerful
done it then?
congregation in
The other
Kalamazoo's
Imran's
rural
expression
belt.
changed. For the
The
first
church
time,
had shut down
something
in
human.
2002
Something
after
like
a fraud
regret.
scandal.
because
But
I
its
tried.
old records were
A
archived.
pause. And I
That's
failed.
when she found it.
Imran's heart skipped.
From
How?
1977
The
to
other Imran's voice
1988,
dropped.
monthly
Because you
payments
always
of
stopped me.
$300 to $500 were
Imran
made to
stepped
the
back
Harlan
slowly.
family from a
So
fund
what?
labeled
We just kill each
Special
other
Youth
until one of
Placement
us wins.
Assistance.
The other
The
Imran
checks were
shook his
signed
head.
by Pastor
No.
Gerald Rusk,
A pause.
a fiery preacher
Only one of us
who
is
had
allowed
died
to
in
choose.
1995.
Imran frowned.
His
What
sermons,
does that mean?
stored on VHS,
The other
were
Imran
riddled
looked
with
him dead in the
apocalyptic
eyes.
warnings about
It has to be you.
purifying the next
A
generation.
chill ran through him.
He had been
Why me?
funneling church money
The
to
answer came
families like the
softly.
Harlans,
Because you're
under
the one who
guise
still
of
cares.
home sanctification.
Imran's throat tightened.
Glass
From
murmured
inside the
aloud.
apartment.
They weren't just
knock.
hiding these kids.
Soft.
They
gentle.
thought they were saving them.
Aisha's voice again.
A cult
Imran?
or a
Are
cover.
you there?
A
Imran closed his
psychological
eyes.
profiler working
His mind
with Ellen
raced.
posed a theory.
If he opened the door,
The Harlans may
she
not
died.
have acted alone.
If he didn't,
Their
he
actions,
didn't know.
isolating
This is
children,
insane, he
brainwashing
whispered.
through fear
The other
and
Imran
obedience,
stepped back,
cutting off
giving him
outside
space.
contact,
Make your
were
choice.
cult-like.
The hallway grew
But
colder.
there had never been
The
enough
light
members
flickered.
or outside
Reality
structure
trembled.
to call it an official
And Imran
cult.
realized something terrifying.
Still,
this
Ellen
wasn't part
began
of the
mapping
loop.
connections.
This was outside it.
Another family
a
in
decision
Ohio,
point.
connected to the
A
same
final
church,
rule.
had
One
three
of them had
adopted
to
children
die.
vanish
Oh,
from their records.
Everything would repeat forever.
A nurse in
Imran
Indiana
opened his
claimed
eyes,
she once treated
looked
a
at the
mute
door,
little red-headed
then at
girl
the other version of
brought
himself.
in under a fake
I'm
name.
not letting her die,
around
he said
1988.
quietly. The other Imran
A
nodded
retired
slowly.
mail carrier
know.
remembered delivering dozens
A
of
pause.
unmarked envelopes
That's
from
why
the
you
church
always lose.
to special households.
The hallway felt like it was closing
Could
in.
it be that what
The light
happened in the
above
Harlan
flickered
house
again.
was part of a
Buzzing.
broader system of hidden
Unstable.
placements?
Imran stood
A
frozen
pipeline that
between
took
two
vulnerable,
realities.
orphaned, or
Behind
unwanted
him,
children
the other
and
version of
assigned them
himself.
to families under
Calm,
religious cover.
waiting.
It was
in front of
impossible
him.
to prove fully.
The door. Aisha.
But there were too many
alive,
shadows to ignore.
trusting.
Gregory's
Imran.
final
A voice
letter.
came again, softer this
In
time.
prison,
It
Gregory
hurt more
Harlan
now,
began writing letters.
because he understood
not to
something
the
he
court,
hadn't before.
not to the media,
This moment
but to
was
Lily.
never about saving her.
With her
It was
permission,
about what he was
Ellen
willing
read
to
one
lose.
aloud to her during
Imran
a
swallowed
supervised
hard.
session.
You said there's a truth behind
Dear
all
Lily,
this, he said
don't
slowly,
deserve your
not
forgiveness.
turning around.
But I want
Tell
you to
me.
know,
The other
Rosie
Imran didn't
loved
answer
you more than
immediately.
anyone I've
For a
ever
moment,
seen love anything.
There was only silence.
She gave up everything to protect
You really
you.
don't remember,
I
do
tried
you?
to help,
Imran
I didn't
clenched
do
his
enough.
jaw.
but
Remember
she,
what? A
she
long
never
pause.
gave up.
Then,
You are
the
the
first
proof
time,
that she won.
the word sent a chill
If the
down
world
his
ever
spine.
tells you you're broken,
The first time
tell
what?
it this.
The other Imran
A girl
stepped
raised
closer.
in darkness
His voice
still
lower
found
now.
the light.
Before the loop,
You are the light,
the
Lily.
world seemed to tilt.
I'm so
Before
sorry.
the loop, there was a
Greg.
before. What happened?
Lily didn't cry.
Imran whispered.
She simply asked
The other
Ellen,
Imran exhaled
can I
slowly,
write back?
like he'd carried
It
this
was the
for
first
too long.
time she'd initiated
killed her.
anything on her own.
Silence.
Public
Imran
reckoning.
didn't react at first.
By
His brain refused to
mid-2024,
process
the
it.
case was national
No.
news again.
The other Imran
A
didn't
wave of
argue.
lawsuits followed.
Didn't raise his voice.
Former social workers
Just
were
said,
subpoenaed.
Yes. The
The
word
state of
echoed in the
Michigan
narrow
faced a
hallway.
class action
Imran
lawsuit
shook
from
his head
victims of
violently.
foster care abuse.
No, that's
The
not.
church's former
this whole thing
trustees
is
were
about stopping
investigated
that.
for financial
It
conspiracy.
already happened.
Survivors
Imran
from other
froze.
placement families
What?
came forward.
The other
Many
Imran's
of
eyes
them
locked
bearing
onto
similar
his.
stories of hidden
This isn't a
rooms,
warning.
isolation,
A
and
pause.
spiritual abuse.
It's a consequence.
One woman,
The
now
hallway
52,
darkened slightly,
stood before
like
a
the
press
truth
podium
itself
and
was
said,
pulling the light away.
I thought I was the
Imran's
only one.
voice cracked. I
But
would
Rosie's
never.
story
You
showed
did.
me I wasn't crazy.
The interruption was
I
immediate.
was just hidden.
Sharp. And
The
final.
Sunlight Foundation
Silence.
Lily, now in
Then,
therapy full-time
why?
and working with a ghostwriter,
Imran asked.
launched
The other
Sunlight
Imran
Foundation,
hesitated.
a
For the first
nonprofit
time,
dedicated to
he looked
investigating
away,
failed placements,
because she opened the
forgotten
door.
foster children,
The same
and
words.
unregulated
Again.
home adoptions.
But this time,
Its motto,
they meant something different.
no child left
Imran's
unnamed.
breathing slowed. That's not a
The
reason.
Foundation quickly
The other
uncovered
Imran
3 more
nodded.
children missing
No.
from state
A
records
pause.
between
It's the
1970
moment.
and 1990.
Imran frowned.
All from Michigan.
What does that mean?
All with ties to
The
closed
other Imran
churches.
stepped past him slightly.
One girl,
closer to the
Angela
door.
M., was
It
found
means
alive
everything
in
changes
2025,
A beat.
living under a false
When
name
she opens
in
the
northern
door.
Wisconsin.
He turned back.
She remembered
You see
Rosie.
something. Imran's
She
heart
gave me
pounded.
her last cookie.
What?
Angela whispered
answer
in a
came
recorded
quietly.
interview.
The truth.
She said I'd get out.
Silence.
I didn't
What
believe
truth?
her.
Imran pressed.
Angela
The
escaped
other
in
Imran's expression
1985
darkened.
by crawling
That she
through
wasn't
a coal
supposed
chute
to.
during a thunderstorm.
The words didn't make
Her
sense.
story was
But
buried
they
for
felt
decades.
important. Wasn't
Now
supposed
she
to
too
what?
would be heard.
Be there.
Echoes.
A long
the
pause.
Harlan farmhouse was
Imran's
gone,
mind raced.
but
You're
a
saying
3D model
she wasn't
built
supposed
for
to open
evidence
the door.
was displayed at the Michigan
The other
Museum
Imran
of
shook
Justice.
his head slowly.
Visitors
No.
could walk
A
through the
pause.
virtual recreation
She wasn't
of
supposed
Rosie's
to
room,
exist in that
the attic,
moment.
and even
Everything
the tunnel
stopped.
Lily used to escape.
Imran stared at him.
At the
What?
end of the exhibit,
The other Imran's
guests
voice
stood
dropped
before
to
a wall
whisper.
of names.
This is where the loop
David
started.
DJ, Maya
A beat.
Carter, Timothy
weren't alone
Lasker,
that night.
Angela White,
The hallway
Emily
seemed
Stanton,
to stretch,
Rosie Harlan.
bend. Like
And
reality
now,
itself
Angela
didn't
M.,
want him to
one
hear
plaque
this.
read,
What are you saying?
they were hidden,
Imran
but not
asked,
forgotten.
barely breathing.
And next
The
to
other
it,
Imran
a
stepped
small
closer,
note in Rosie's
face to
handwriting,
face.
preserved
You opened
from her
your door.
diary.
A pause.
If you find
And
this,
there was no one there.
tell them I was
Imran's
real.
heart skipped. That's not.
Despite the mounting
You
evidence,
waited.
growing media
The voice
frenzy,
cut
and
through him.
national outrage,
You looked down the hallway.
one part of the Harlan story
Another step
remained
closer.
elusive.
And then,
What happened in the
whisper.
final weeks
She
before
appeared.
Rosie died?
the world shattered.
The
Fragments
diaries
of
ended
memory
abruptly.
flooded back.
The tapes
hallway.
grew fewer,
Empty.
and Rosie's
Silent.
remains, while
Then,
found,
A figure.
gave little forensic
standing
insight
there,
beyond severe
smiling.
malnutrition
Aisha.
and bone deterioration.
Imran staggered backward. No,
So much of her
no,
life had been
that's not
documented
real.
in whispers,
The other Imran
faint
didn't
singing,
move.
scribbled
It
lines,
is.
memories
pause.
sealed behind
You didn't
drywall.
question it. You
But the
didn't
last
stop to
days
think. You
were
just
shadows.
let her in.
Until
Imran's
a janitor
chest
from the
tightened
courthouse
painfully.
made a discovery.
So what? She
The
wasn't
black
real.
box in a dusty
other
supply
Imran's
closet
expression
beneath
twisted.
the Kalamazoo County
That's the
Archives
problem.
building, behind
A
a
beat.
false wall panel.
She was.
A maintenance
Silence.
worker named Ron
Imran's
Holloway
mind struggled
found a
to
locked
keep up.
briefcase.
Then what's the
It
problem?
had no label.
The answer came
no key.
slowly. Carefully.
He almost threw
She
it
wasn't
away
supposed to be.
until he shook
The
it
lights
and
flickered
heard
violently.
something rattle inside.
The hallway warped. Reality
The sheriff's
trembled again.
department took
This
possession
loop,
and cracked
the other
it open.
Imran continued.
Inside was a
punishment.
digital high-8
pause.
camcorder.
It's containment.
Along with it,
Imran's
one
breath
final
caught.
tape labeled
Containment.
1991
Imran nodded.
RH.
Something
Do
broke
not
that
destroy.
night. A beat.
Rosie's final
And
film.
now, it's trying
the video
to fix
was grainy,
itself.
and the battery
Silence.
almost dead.
Imran looked at
But
the
when
door.
Glass viewed it,
At Aisha.
in a sealed room
At the
with
moment
no
everything
reporters,
hinged on.
no agents,
So if
no
I save
noise,
her.
the
other
entire
Imran
course of
interrupted
the investigation
softly.
changed.
You make it worse.
Rosie
A long
had recorded
pause.
herself,
And if I don't,
not secretly,
Imran whispered.
not hurriedly,
The answer came
but
like a
deliberately.
blade. Then you become me.
She sat on the bed,
Silence.
the
The
same
truth
bed where her
settled in.
bones would later
Heavy.
be found.
Unavoidable.
She was thinner than
There was no
before.
winning. No
Her hair
perfect
hung limp
ending.
over her shoulders.
No clean escape.
Her lips were
Only
cracked,
a choice.
but her
The
eyes
door creaked
still
open
defiant.
slightly. Aisha's
Still
voice
alive.
trembled. Imran,
If
please.
you're watching this, I
Imran
guess you
closed
found
his
me,
eyes,
or what's
took a
left
breath,
of me.
and realized
coughed.
something horrifying.
This is my truth.
This wasn't about
No
saving
lies,
her life.
no whispers.
It was about
just me.
deciding if she
A
should have
confession.
won at all.
Rosie
The door
spoke
was still
slowly,
slightly open.
clearly.
Just
she began
enough
by
for
naming
light to
every
spill
child
into
she
the hallway.
remembered. One
Just
by
enough
one.
for her voice to
David,
reach
Maya,
him.
Timothy,
Imran,
Angela, Emily,
please,
Lily.
I'm scared. Every
She told their
instinct in his
stories
body
as best
screamed
she
at him
could.
to move,
How each
to run
came
to
into
her,
the house, what
to
they
open
were
the
like,
door
and how
fully,
they suffered.
to pull her into
Then
safety.
she spoke about Sarah.
But now, he knew.
Sarah
That
said
wasn't
we were
saving
sinners.
her. That
that
was
God
starting
wanted
it
us
all over
broken.
again.
She
Imran's
said pain
hands
was how
trembled
we
at
paid
his
for being
sides.
born.
Behind him,
I tried
the
to
other
protect
Imran
them.
didn't speak,
I really did.
didn't rush him,
But I wasn't strong
didn't
enough.
interfere. Because
Except
he
for
didn't
Lily.
need to.
She
He already
smiled
knew
weakly.
how this would end.
She still
You always
believes in
choose
stars.
her, the other Imran said quietly.
The turning point.
Imran clenched his jaw.
Then
And you
Rosie
always
said
kill
something
her.
Glass hadn't expected.
Silence. The words
I
hung
lied
in
to
the air.
Sarah.
Heavy.
She
Unavoidable.
thought I was dying faster
Then tell
than I
me
was.
something, Imran
So I
said
faked the
slowly.
shaking, the
For
coughing.
once.
I made
The other
my voice
Imran
hoarse.
tilted his head slightly.
I wanted her
What?
to stop watching so
Imran
closely.
finally turned around,
And it
faced him
worked.
directly, eyes
Sarah
burning.
stopped feeding
If
Rosie.
I let her die,
Thought she was
a
near
pause.
death.
Does she stay
Shifted her
dead?
attention.
That question, for the
Rosie
first
used
time,
that time to coach
made the other
Lily.
Imran hesitate.
I told her
Just
how to find
slightly.
the tunnel behind the
Yes,
dresser.
he said. said,
I told her to
but
listen
there was
for
something
when.
off. Something
I told her
uncertain.
not to cry, no matter
Imran
what.
noticed. You're
And
lying.
then I told her something
The
I
other
never said
Imran's
out
expression
loud before.
hardened. I'm not.
She looked into
But
the camera.
Imran shook his head.
I loved
No,
her.
no, you don't know.
The last
A
goodbye.
realization hit him. Hard.
The tape ended
You've
with
never
Rosie
made this
placing
choice,
the camera
have
on the
you?
floor and walking slowly
Silence.
to the wall.
That was the answer.
There she wrote
Imran
a final
exhaled
message
slowly.
in chalk.
You said it
Tell
yourself.
the truth.
You tried
Don't
to
look
stop
away.
me.
Not
A
this
step
time.
forward. But you never
Then she
became
lay
me.
down.
Another
in
step.
defeat.
So you don't
In
know what
peace.
happens if I actually
hidden
choose
file.
differently. The other
Also
Imran's
inside
eyes
the
darkened.
briefcase was a USB
Don't do
drive.
this.
It contained
Imran turned
scanned
back
documents.
toward the door.
Files
I
Glass
have to.
recognized immediately
His
as
heart
internal
pounded
police
so
memos
hard it
from
hurt.
1983.
Aisha's voice came
One
again.
in particular made her
Imran,
go cold.
why aren't you saying
2.
anything?
Deputy Charles
throat
Lenning
tightened.
from Sergeant
Because
Howard
this-
Ellison.
This was
You
the
are
moment.
to drop the Harlan
The
follow.
one every version
They've
of
got
him had
eyes on the
failed.
board.
He stepped
the Reverend
closer to the
says
door.
it's a sacred matter.
Slowly.
Burn the
Each
notes.
step heavier than the
This
last.
stays buried.
I'm here, he said
So it
softly.
had been systemic.
There was relief in her
The
voice
silencing
instantly.
wasn't lazy.
Oh, thank God.
It was intentional.
I thought.
Lily's
Imran
voice.
raised his hand,
When
hovered
Lily
it near
was
the
shown
door,
the final tape,
and stopped.
she didn't
Don't
cry.
open it, he
She
said.
placed her hand on
Silence.
the screen and whispered.
What? She whispered.
She didn't say goodbye.
His voice shook now.
She said,
Whatever
"Tell the
you
truth."
hear. A breath.
It was the
Whatever you
longest
see.
sentence she'd spoken
Don't
all
open the
year.
door. A long
With her
pause.
therapist, she
Imran,
began
you're
recording
scaring
audio
me.
journals.
Tears
not to
filled his
remember,
eyes.
but to testify.
I know. Another
She
pause.
gave permission for
But
one
you
of
have
them
to trust
be
me.
played at Sarah Harlan's
Behind
trial.
him, the other Imran
trial.
took a step forward. This
In the
won't
summer
work.
of 2025,
Imran ignored him.
Sarah Harlan stood
Focused
before
only
the
on her.
court.
No matter
Pale,
what happens.
gaunt, her white
Stay
hair
inside.
pinned up like a shell of her
Silence.
former self.
Then,
The
okay,
trial lasted
she
4
whispered.
weeks.
The word broke
Dozens of
something
witnesses
inside him.
testified.
Because she
The tapes
trusted
were
him.
played.
Completely.
The dollhouse was
And
presented.
this time,
the room
he wasn't
was
going to
reconstructed
betray
in
that.
photos.
The hallway
And then
began
the
to
jury
shake.
heard Lily's recording.
Violently. The
Her
lights
voice,
flickered.
still
Then
childlike,
burst.
described
Darkness
the walls,
swallowed everything.
the hunger,
A low,
the lullabies,
deep sound echoed
and
around
Rosie's
them,
final days.
like something enormous shifting
When the
in
recording
walls.
ended,
The other Imran
silence
grabbed
filled
his
the
arm.
courtroom.
You don't understand what
bailiff
you've
cried.
done.
The
Imran
verdict,
pulled away.
on September
I'm
2nd,
ending it. The floor
2025,
cracked beneath them.
the jury
The
returned.
walls split. Reality
Guilty
itself
on all
tearing
counts.
apart. A voice echoed through the
Sarah
darkness.
was sentenced to 7
Not Aisha.
consecutive life sentences
Not the other
without
Imran.
parole.
Something else.
She showed no emotion.
Something vast.
But as
You
she was led
interfered.
away,
The
she
voice
turned
was
back
everywhere.
and muttered one word.
Inside his head.
Unclear.
Inside his chest. With the correction.
Ellen Glass turned her back
Imran
on
froze.
her.
Correction.
She had no
he
interest in
whispered.
monsters
The
clinging to
darkness
false
pulsed.
faith.
Like it was
The
alive.
legacy grows.
The anomaly
Rosie's final
persists.
message,
The
"Don't
words
look away,"
felt mechanical.
became a rallying
Cold.
cry.
Unfeeling.
It was printed
Imran's
on
heart
T-shirts,
raced.
murals,
She's not an
protest
anomaly.
signs, advocacy
Silence.
handbooks.
Then,
The Sunlight
She does not
Foundation
belong.
saw a 300%
Imran shook
increase
his head
in
violently.
volunteer investigators.
she's a person.
And Lily,
She is a deviation.
she spoke at a
The
children's
words hit
justice
like a
summit
hammer.
in Chicago.
A break in sequence.
Her final words,
The walls around them
"I
dissolved
was raised
into
in
nothing.
darkness,
The hallway gone.
but darkness
The
didn't
door
raise
gone.
me.
Everything gone.
Rosie did."
Only darkness
By
remained.
fall of
And
2025,
Imran,
the
floating
legal
in it.
battle had ended.
The other Imran stood beside
Sarah
him.
Harlan was
Silent
imprisoned.
now.
The
Watching.
Harlan name,
You were
once shielded
created.
by community
The voice
reverence,
continued.
had become
Oh, to
synonymous
correct it.
with generational
Imran's
evil.
breath caught. Created.
Rosie's story had
The
made
answer
global
came
headlines,
instantly.
inspiring reform,
A pause.
investigations,
Every
and a
version of
reckoning.
you. Imran's
But
mind
Detective
shattered.
Ellen Glass
No.
couldn't rest.
You fail.
Something still
A
gnawed
beat.
at her.
Repeatedly.
There was a name
Images
Rosie
flashed
mentioned in her
around him.
diary.
Thousands.
Maya,
Different versions of
a
himself.
girl said to have lived
Opening
in the
the
house
door.
only a few months.
Saving her.
Yet
Watching
there
her
were no
die.
records,
Again.
no body,
And
no
again.
clue where she
And
had
again.
gone.
Then I won't
All
fail,
the other children's
Imran
remains
said.
had been accounted
Silence.
for.
You
except
already
hers.
have. The
The
darkness
hint
pulsed
in the
again.
garden.
Stronger this time.
One day,
The
while
anomaly
reviewing
remained.
the digital model of the
Imran's
farmhouse
chest
for a
tightened.
museum exhibit,
No.
Glass noticed something
whisper
strange.
escaped him.
A discrepancy
She's
in
still
the
alive.
satellite imagery
The voice
from
didn't
1984
respond.
compared
And
to
that
more
silence
recent drone
was
footage.
worse than anything.
A
because
cluster
it
of
meant
trees that had
this
been
wasn't
alive in
over.
the 1980s,
Not even close.
just behind
The
the,
darkness
old barn,
began to collapse.
had all
inward,
died off
folding
by the
in
late
on itself.
2000s.
taking everything with it.
Arborists had
The last thing
speculated
Imran
about
saw,
blight or drought,
before everything
but
disappeared,
Glass saw a
was
pattern.
the other version of himself.
The trees had formed
looking
a
at
perfect
him.
circle,
Not with anger,
a ring of
not
rock.
with hatred,
The orchard
but
that
with
wasn't
something
she
far worse.
assembled a
Pity.
team and returned
There was
to
no
the
light.
Harlan property,
no sound,
now
no
state-owned
ground
and sealed
beneath
for
his feet.
preservation.
just silence.
They brought cadaver
Endless.
dogs,
Imran floated
One
in
dog stopped,
nothingness.
then
Or
another.
maybe he
At
wasn't
the base
floating
of a
at
twisted
all.
apple tree.
Maybe he had already fallen.
Digging began
Is
immediately.
it over? He whispered.
Within a few
No
hours,
answer.
they hit
No
wood,
voice.
and beneath
No
that,
presence.
bones.
For the first time
Maya had been
since the
buried
calls
standing
began,
upright. upright,
There was no
wrapped
loop,
in a floral
no
bedsheet,
echo, no
arms
repetition,
folded over her chest.
just stillness.
Her skull
Then,
was cracked.
a sound,
The most
soft,
chilling detail,
a phone ringing.
she was holding
Imran's
something
eyes
in her
snapped
hands.
open. And
A photo
suddenly,
of Sarah
he was
as
back,
a teenager,
standing
with
in a
the
familiar
words,
place.
"You promised."
His apartment.
scribbled in red crayon
Everything
on the back.
normal. Everything quiet.
The forgotten girl
His
Maya
phone
Carter
vibrated
had
in
been
his
removed
hand.
from her mother's
He didn't
custody
remember
in
picking it up.
1982
Didn't
following
remember it
reports of
ringing.
abuse.
But there it was.
She'd been placed in
Screen
emergency
glowing.
housing.
Incoming call.
Paperwork incomplete.
No number.
And
No
then
name. Just one
lost.
word. Unknown.
Her birth
Imran
mother
stared at
died
it.
by overdose
Heart
in
pounding.
1984.
This is it.
There was
he
no one
whispered.
left to look for
The
her.
final piece. The final
Rosie had
truth.
written about her
His
once.
thumb hovered over the screen.
Maya smiled even
Then,
when it hurt.
He answered.
She said Sarah
Hello.
was her angel.
Silence.
I told her
Then,
angels don't lock
a voice.
doors.
Not distorted.
And now,
Not
Maya
mechanical.
was found.
Soft.
43
Familiar.
years too late.
Imran.
Her body
His
was
breath
exhumed
caught.
with care
Aisha.
and buried next
A
to
pause.
Rosie in a new memorial garden
I
behind
remember
the
now.
museum.
Those words
Visitors
sent a
left
chill
paper
through him.
sunflowers at her
Remember
headstone.
what? Her
The
voice
anonymous
trembled.
envelope weeks
Everything.
later.
The
Glass
room around
received
him
an
seemed to
envelope.
shrink.
No
Then tell
return
me,
address.
he said urgently.
Inside
What is
was a
this?
photograph.
What are you?
A group of children
Silence.
sitting on a worn
Then,
wooden floor.
I was never
At the
supposed to
center
exist,
was Rosie,
she said.
holding a younger
The
Lily.
truth. Exactly
Maya
what the
stood
voice
behind
had
them.
said. Imran
David
closed
crouched
his
at the
eyes.
side.
But you do.
The photo was decades old.
A pause.
On the back,
Because
a
of you.
handwritten message.
His eyes opened.
There were more.
What? A
Glass's
voice
heart
broke
pounded.
slightly.
She
You
called
don't
in
remember
every
the night it
archivist,
started.
digital forensic
Imran's
analyst,
chest
and
tightened.
photographic expert
I
she
saw
knew.
something, you appearing.
Together, they
A
enhanced
faint,
the photo.
sad laugh.
In
Not
the
appearing.
background, half
A
shadowed,
pause.
stood
Returning.
two other children,
The word hit
a
him
boy
hard.
and a girl.
Returning from where?
Unnamed,
Silence.
unknown.
Then, from
Glass
a
had
place I
never
shouldn't
seen
have
them
come
before.
back from.
A secret
The
network.
room grew colder.
She
Imran's
reviewed
voice
all
lowered.
state placements
You
from
died.
1975
A long
to
pause.
1985.
Yes.
Cross-referenced
was
every
simple.
missing child
Final.
with ties to
And you
religious
couldn't
foster
accept
homes
it.
or
She
unlicensed
continued
adoptions.
softly. You broke something.
She searched through closed
flash.
churches and
A
defunct
memory
youth
forced
programs.
its way into his mind.
The trail led
hospital
her to
room.
a small abandoned
Machines
church
beeping.
in western Pennsylvania.
Aisha lying still.
There,
Doctors
in
shaking
the rubble
their
of a
heads.
collapsed prayer
And
hall,
him,
she
screaming,
found something horrifying.
begging, refusing.
A wooden
No,
chest
Imran
identical to the
whispered.
one David had
You
been
called
buried
me,
in.
she said.
Inside,
The words echoed.
a child's
You
dress,
called me, even
a lock
after
of
I was
red hair,
gone.
and a photograph.
Imran's hands began to shake.
Rosie again.
That's not possible.
But this time,
But you
she
did.
was not in the Harlan
Her
house.
voice was steady now.
This wasn't
clear,
a single house of
and something
horrors.
answered.
It was a
The
network.
silence that followed was
The
unbearable.
reopened files
What
by
answered?
winter of
He whispered.
2025.
A response
Over
came
19
slowly,
cold cases
like
from
she was
Michigan,
afraid to say
Ohio,
it.
and Pennsylvania
Not
were
me.
reopened.
Imran's heart stopped.
Children who had run
A
away.
cold realization crept
Records
in.
mysteriously
Then what have I been
lost.
talking to?
Families
A long
told to move
pause.
on.
We're copy.
Rosie's
The
story
word
had
felt
cracked
wrong.
open a regional
Empty.
conspiracy of forgotten
Terrifying.
children,
A version
taken
of me
under the
that
guise
shouldn't
of
exist.
morality and faith,
The truth
hidden
settled
from the
in.
world,
Everything
and in
made
some
sense
cases,
now. The loop.
discarded.
The corrections. The voice.
The Sunlight Foundation
It wasn't trying to
expanded
punish him.
overnight.
It was
A
trying
new
to fix
division,
what he
the
broke.
Orchard Task Force,
And you,
was formed,
he asked softly.
led by Glass.
What are you now?
Their mission:
Silence.
trace every
Then,
shred of
and what's
documentation
left?
tied to the
His
Rogue
chest
Child
tightened
Placement
painfully.
Network,
I remember
believed to
dying.
have operated from
I remember
1971
nothing.
to 1993,
I remember
and they
you.
had a new lead.
Tears filled his eyes.
The man in the photograph.
Aisha. Her voice softened.
In the newly discovered
You have to
photo,
let me go.
just barely
The
visible
words
in the
shattered
background,
him. No.
stood an adult
A
figure,
beat. No.
male,
I can fix this.
wearing a long coat,
There has to be a way.
hand on Rosie's shoulder.
There isn't. Her tone
Digital
wasn't harsh.
enhancement revealed his
Just
face.
certain.
He
As long
wasn't
as I
Walter
exist
Harlan.
like this,
He wasn't Pastor
it won't
Rusk.
stop.
He was
The
unknown,
weight of it crushed
a
him.
stranger.
Then what do I do?
And
He
yet,
whispered.
when
A long
Glass ran
silence.
facial recognition through old
end the call.
DMV and security archives,
Imran froze.
one hit
What?
came up.
If you hang up,
Reverend Paul Myers,
I won't come back.
a former
The world
pastor of a
seemed to tilt.
Pentecostal branch,
You
shut
asking
down
me to
in
kill you.
1994
A
after
soft
suspected
exhale.
tax fraud.
I'm already gone.
He had vanished,
Tears streamed down
Never
his
arrested.
face now. Please.
never found,
A pause.
until now.
Let me stay gone.
The hunt begins.
His hand trembled. The phone
The
felt
FBI
heavier than
joined the
anything he'd ever
investigation
held.
in early
This was it.
2026.
No loops.
They dubbed it
No second
Operation Hidden
chances.
Choir,
Just one choice.
targeting the suspected
Imran closed
underground
his
child
eyes.
relocation network,
I'm sorry, he
disguised
whispered.
as spiritual
Her voice
sanctuaries.
came one last time. Soft.
Glass was appointed
warm.
special consultant.
I know.
Lily
And then,
gave permission to
he
share
ended the
portions
call.
of her story
Silence.
for the nationwide
The
campaign.
room didn't shake. The world
At a
didn't
press
break.
conference,
Nothing
Glass
happened.
spoke with a
For a
trembling
long
voice.
time. Imran
We
just
thought
stood
this
there,
case ended at the
breathing,
Harlan house.
alone.
We were wrong.
Finally,
It didn't
he
end
looked
there.
at the phone.
It
The
began
screen
there.
was black. Still,
a candle for Rosie.
dead. No more calls.
Back in Kalamazoo,
No more loops.
people left candles
Just
along
reality.
the fence line where the
But as
Harlan
he set
house
the phone
once stood.
down, something flickered.
Children wrote
Just for a
Rosie
second.
letters.
A
One
reflection
note
in the
written
screen.
in a child's
A
crayon
figure
read,
standing
"Dear
behind
Rosie,
him. He turned
I
slowly.
wish you were my sister.
Nothing there. The room
Thank
was
you
empty.
for saving Lily.
Silent.
Thank
But
you
the
for
phone
being brave.
buzzed.
I
Once.
love you.
A new notification.
Glass read it
Imran
and tucked
stared
it
at
into
it.
her notebook.
Slowly. He picked
Some
it up,
cases never leave
and his
you,
blood ran cold.
and some names
One new voicemail.
you carry
From
forever.
Unknown. His hand trembled as he opened it. And then, a voice played. Soft. Familiar. Imran. The line crackled. What did you do? The screen went black. And somewhere, deep in the silence, the phone began to ring again. He always watched from the attic, and nobody knew why, until the night the neighbors vanished. The day the McAllisters vanished started like any other Sunday morning in the quiet suburb of Cedar Glen. Birds sang outside neatly trimmed hedges. Mailboxes lined the street like sentinels of suburban order. Families watered their lawns, mowed their grass, and sipped coffee in the soft golden sunlight. Nothing unusual, nothing threatening, nothing that would hint at the horror about to unfold. For the Harrisons next door, it was a normal morning. Linda Harrison, balancing a tray of toast and coffee, peered out the kitchen window at the McAllister house. "They are late for church again," she muttered to her husband, Mark, stirring his coffee absently. But she didn't notice the subtle shift in the McAllister home that morning. A shadow at the attic window. A figure so still it could have been carved from the darkness itself. Nobody noticed it. Nobody ever did, until later. By mid-afternoon, curiosity turned into worry. The McAllisters' car was gone, and the children's bicycles were still parked on the driveway. No sign of life. Mail piled up, dampened by the spring drizzle. Neighbors whispered. A friend tried calling. No answer. By evening, the police were involved. Officer Daniels, seasoned but not easily shaken, noted the first chilling detail. All the lights were off, the house locked tight, but there were no signs of forced entry. Inside, the McAllister home was pristine. Too pristine. Breakfast dishes sat untouched on the counter, beds unmade, laundry still half-folded. But no people, no sound, no evidence that anyone had been there or left willingly. Then came the attic. Daniels climbed the narrow stairs. Dust motes floated in the weak flashlight beam. Each step creaked, echoing through the empty house. The attic hatch was slightly ajar. The moment he pushed it open, he realized something horrifying. The entire room had been lived in, recently. Crayons scattered on the floor. A small, folded blanket laid neatly in the corner. A chair pulled up to the single window, positioned so whoever sat there could watch the street below. Daniels's stomach turned, because in the attic window, the glass was smudged. Fingerprints, clean and deliberate. Watching. The investigation began immediately, and the neighborhood turned upside down. Who could have taken the McAllisters? Why leave no trace? And why, after decades of living in peace, did someone suddenly choose this family? Neighbors were interviewed. Friends, co-workers, even delivery people. But nobody reported anything unusual, except for one man, Harold Finch. Harold was 62, retired, living alone in a house on the far corner of Cedar Glen. Quiet, polite, and often seen tending his garden or walking his dog. Nobody suspected Harold. Not even the police. Not even the neighbors. Except the children sometimes mentioned him, though they never realized how dangerous the detail was. He watches sometimes, the youngest Harrison girl admitted, clutching her mother's hand. From the attic, Linda laughed nervously, thinking the girl was imagining things. A child's wild imagination. A harmless paranoia. But the police didn't laugh. They pulled the neighborhood records. Old blueprints of homes. Reports of strange activity, small thefts, neighbors claiming lights flickering in empty rooms. Nothing overt. Nothing violent. Nothing that pointed directly to Harold Finch. But there was one detail that made the hairs on Daniels's neck stand on end. Finch had lived in Cedar Glen for over 30 years. And in every case of unexplained disappearances or odd, unsolved incidents during that time, Harold was always present. Present. Watching. That night, the police secured the McAllister home, placing a guard and motion sensors. But no one dared sleep there. Not anyone sane. And in the shadows of the street, just across the lawn, behind the corner house, Harold Finch's figure could be seen in the attic window. Watching. Always watching. He wasn't worried. Not yet. Because he knew something no one else did. The McAllisters weren't the first. They wouldn't be the last. And he had plans for the neighborhood, plans that would take years to unfold. The next morning, Cedar Glen felt different. The sun rose over the neatly aligned rooftops, but the warmth of its light seemed hollow. The McAllister house, boarded up for investigation, stood like a dark sentinel on the street. Neighbors whispered behind curtains. Doors cracked open just slightly to watch police officers and detectives come and go. Mark Harrison had spent the night pacing. His wife, Linda, sat on the couch with the younger children huddled against her. The oldest, 14-year-old Rachel, stared at the McAllister house from the window. "They're never coming back, are they?" Rachel asked, voice trembling. Linda shook her head. I don't know, but the police will find them." Detective Daniels stood outside the house, briefing Officer Ruiz, who had spent the night monitoring the perimeter. "I've seen a lot in my career," Daniels muttered, his face grim. "But this is different. There's no sign of a struggle. Nothing stolen. Nothing broken. Yet the family is just gone." Ruiz frowned. "You think it's a kidnapping?" Daniels rubbed his temple. "I don't know what it is. But this isn't random. There's a pattern. And I think it's been happening for years. Years." Daniels pulled out his notepad, flipping through decades of cold case files from Cedar Glen and surrounding neighborhoods. Missing children, families who vanished without a trace, reports of strange behavior from neighbors. Nothing ever solved. Nothing ever explained. And then it clicked. The first thing Daniels noticed was the positions of the houses. All missing families lived on corners. All had a clear line of sight to at least one neighboring attic window. And every time, neighbors had reported feeling watched, sometimes for months, sometimes for years, before the disappearances occurred. He made a note, attic windows, sight lines, watching. Back at the McAllister house, forensic teams scoured the property. They found fingerprints, dozens, mostly smudged, mostly inconsequential, but one set stood out. Harold Finch. He had never been considered a suspect before. He was that nice old neighbor, the one who mowed his lawn meticulously and brought cookies to new families. But suddenly, he was everywhere in the investigation. Fingerprints on the doorknobs, dust on furniture indicating recent presence, even traces of hair in the attic. Not the McAllisters, not any pets. The investigators asked the question no one had considered yet. Has anyone seen Harold today? Nobody had. Meanwhile, at Finch's house, nothing seemed out of place. Curtains drawn, garden immaculate, dog asleep. The attic hatch slightly open, just a crack. Dusty shadows visible if you squinted from the street. Daniels decided they needed to see inside. But Finch's record was clean. No arrests, no convictions, no history of violence, nothing that gave them probable cause. So they did what any desperate police department would do. They started digging into his past. Harold Finch was born in Cedar Glen in 1958. He had grown up in the same house, inherited it from his father. People described him as quiet, meticulous, and peculiar. He never married, had no known children, and rarely had visitors. But the most disturbing detail came from old neighbors who still remembered him as a teenager. He used to watch people, one man said nervously, from his window, always drawing things in notebooks, sketches, houses, faces. He never left the house much. Another neighbor recalled a more sinister anecdote. One night, the Wilson family moved in across the street. He had an attic window open, and we could see him watching the house. My father told him to close it. The next morning, the family's dog was missing. And then, a month later, they moved away. Just gone. Didn't sell the house. Didn't take anything. Just left. Daniel scribbled notes frantically, sketching the connections, drawing lines between houses, neighborhoods, families, disappearances. Patterns emerged. Corners, attic windows, sight lines, silence, and always someone watching. They interviewed neighbors near the McAllister house again. Children were questioned. Some remembered a man in the attic. Some had vague memories of shadowy figures staring through their windows late at night. A pattern became clear. Harold Finch didn't break into houses. He didn't need to. He watched. He waited. And when families were distracted, when they were careless, he struck. Daniels realized something horrifying. The disappearances weren't impulsive. They weren't random. They were experiments. Back at Finch's house, investigators noted that all the lights were off. The attic window remained slightly cracked. The dog was gone. Suddenly, Officer Ruiz noticed something on the side porch. A small notebook, worn at the edges. Finch had forgotten it. Inside were detailed sketches of the McAllister house. Floor plans, staircases, furniture placement, family routines, notes about each member. He's been planning this for weeks, Ruiz whispered, shivering. Daniels nodded grimly. No, years. Each page meticulously recorded movements, timings, habits. Every grocery trip, every school drop-off, every evening routine noted in painstaking detail. It was a predator's diary, a blueprint for control. Daniel's eyes landed on one page and froze. It was a drawing of the street, corner houses marked with tiny symbols. And in the corner of the sketch, a small figure, almost like a shadow, hovering above the McAllister home. A single note written in Finch's precise hand. They don't know I'm here. Yet. The words made the hair on Daniel's neck stand up. He's been doing this for decades, he muttered. And it's only getting worse, Ruiz replied. Meanwhile, Finch was still in his attic, unseen, unbothered. Watching. Taking notes. Preparing. Because he knew something the police didn't yet understand. The McAllisters weren't the lost family. And Cedar Glen would never be safe again. The air in Cedar Glen had changed. Not physically, not visibly, but the residents knew it. Even the kids sensed it. An invisible weight pressed down on the street, the feeling that someone was always watching. And, for those who were paying attention, they were right. Detective Daniels drove slowly past the McAllister house, clipboard resting on his lap. Officer Ruiz sat beside him, scanning the empty yard. Do you think he's still there? Ruiz asked quietly. Daniels didn't answer at first. His eyes followed the cracked attic window across the street at Finch's house. Something about it made him uneasy. Finally, he spoke. If he's not, he's gone somewhere else. And if he is, we're running out of time. Inside Finch's house, Harold moved like a shadow. Years of observing, waiting, planning, every moment had led to this. He'd been meticulous, patient, always thinking 3 steps ahead. And now, the McAllisters were gone. Their house under investigation. Their lives disrupted. He opened another notebook, flipping to a fresh page. New subjects in sight. They think I'm gone. They are wrong. Observation continues. Patterns must be recorded. Behavior studied. I am the constant. They are temporary. Harold paused, staring at the window. He watched Daniels and Ruiz. The detectives were cautious, professional, but Harold could see fear behind their eyes. Fear that made them predictable. Fear that made them easy to manipulate. For decades, Harold had done this in silence. No one had suspected. Not the neighbors. Not the authorities. Not even the families themselves until it was too late. And he'd learned. The moment a family grew too comfortable, too careless, he struck. But he never physically harmed anyone. Not yet. That wasn't necessary. Observing, manipulating, instilling fear, those were his tools. His art. Meanwhile, Detective Daniels and his team had a breakthrough. They obtained a search warrant for Finch's home. The evidence from the McAllister house, combined with decades of minor complaints and strange reports, finally gave them probable cause. It was time to move. The police assembled quietly in the early morning. Daniels looked over the plan one last time. Team Alpha will enter through the front, he said. Team Bravo takes the back. Keep eyes on all windows. There's no telling what we'll find. Approach cautiously. Harold Finch is meticulous. He watches. He knows patterns. Don't underestimate him. No one spoke. Everyone nodded. The house loomed ahead. Its exterior was ordinary. Normal. Even comforting, if it weren't for the chilling stories surrounding the occupant. Daniels signaled. The front door creaked as Team Alpha entered. No sound came from inside. Dust disturbed, furniture untouched. Everything seemed pristine. Ruiz, part of Team Bravo at the back, scanned the yard. The small side window to the attic caught his attention. A shadow flitted across the glass. Daniels, he whispered into his radio. Attic window. Movement. Daniels stiffened. Copy, he replied. Proceed with caution. Keep your eyes open. He knows we're here. Inside the house, the detectives split into teams. Rooms were empty, eerily so. A faint smell of old paper and dust lingered. Shelves lined with meticulously organized notebooks and photographs of past neighbors, houses, and street layouts. Maps covered the walls. Each corner of Cedar Glen accounted for. Daniel's heart sank. This was no ordinary obsession. This was years of planning. Obsessive, methodical. And it wasn't about the McAllisters. It was about the entire neighborhood. Upstairs, a staircase led to the attic. Daniel signaled. Officers followed slowly. The hatch was slightly open. Dust motes floated in the thin light. A small chair positioned directly in front of the window, and notebooks stacked neatly on the floor. Then they noticed it. A small camera, hidden in the corner of the attic, angled to record the street. Cables snaked across the floor, connected to monitors and recording devices. Someone had been documenting every movement in Cedar Glen. For months. 4 years. Ruiz swallowed hard. He's been watching all of us. Daniels nodded. All of Cedar Glen. Every family, every neighbor. His everywhere. And then they heard it. A soft creak. The attic hatch shifted slightly. Harold Finch stepped out from the shadows. Calm. Collected. Not a hint of fear. Not a hint of surprise. You shouldn't be here, he said softly. Daniels raised his weapon. Harold Finch. Step away from the window. You under arrest. Finch's lips curved in a faint smile. I don't need to hide anymore. They are gone. They've always been gone. You're too late. Daniels tightened his grip on the gun. What are you talking about? The McAllisters. Harold shook his head slowly. They are part of the pattern. The pattern has always existed. You cannot stop it. You are too late, detective. Daniels felt a chill. Explain yourself, Finch. Now. Harold's eyes gleamed. Obsessive. Fanatical. For decades, I have watched. I have waited. I have guided. Cedar Glen is my canvas. Families are my subjects. Every disappearance, every oddity, every fear, it has been part of the experiment. Ruiz took a step back, horrified. Experiment, he stammered. Harold nodded. I observe. I record. I teach them through fear. Most never notice. Some leave. Some break. But the results are always predictable. Daniels pressed forward. And the McAllisters. Finch's smile widened, unnerving. They were careless. Too trusting. They left themselves open. I merely facilitated what was inevitable. Daniel's stomach churned. Facilitated? What did you do to them? Harold's tone was calm, almost gentle. I watched. I waited. They vanished when the time was right. The pattern holds. And soon, so will the rest of the street. A sudden sound, a creak of floorboards, a shifting in the attic, made Daniels pivot. Finch was already gone. The attic was empty. Only the notebooks remained. Maps, diagrams, photographs, every detail of Cedar Glen meticulously documented. Every family, every neighbor, every moment of routine, recorded and analyzed. Daniels grabbed a notebook and flipped through it. The final pages chilled him to the bone. Plans, timetables, schedules, notes on how to manipulate fear, how to isolate families, how to ensure they never suspected a thing. And at the very end, written in large, precise letters, the pattern continues. The watchers remain. The experiment is eternal. Daniels looked out the attic window. Across the street, the houses were quiet. But he felt it, an invisible presence. Eyes that never blinked, always observing. Harold Finch had vanished into the shadows of his own making. And Cedar Glen would never be the same. Cedar Glen didn't recover from the McAllisters' disappearance. Even after Finch vanished from the attic, his presence lingered like a cold draft that no one could shake. Windows left slightly ajar, shadows moving in corners, the softest creak of floorboards. Everything became suspect. Detective Daniels spent sleepless nights poring over Finch's notebooks. Every page revealed patterns, timelines, habits, and a terrifying obsession with observation. Every family on the street had been tracked. Every neighbor catalogued. Every routine noted. One thing became painfully clear. The McAllisters were not random. They were just the first in a long line. Meanwhile, Finch's attention had already shifted. Across the street, in the newly painted house with the white picket fence, lived the Langston family. Helen, a single mother of 3 children, and her brother-in-law, David, who'd moved in to help with the household. A happy, normal family, or so it seemed. Helen noticed something immediately, though she couldn't put it into words. Lights in the neighboring attic flickering at night. Shadows that moved against the glass when no one should be there. A feeling that someone was watching, not just the house, but her, the children, even David when he left for work. She tried to ignore it. But the children, especially 9-year-old Emma, couldn't. "Mom," Emma said one evening, tugging at Helen's sleeve. "That man is staring at us again. From the window. He's in the attic." Helen laughed nervously. "It's nothing, sweetie. Just the shadows. You're imagining things." But Emma shook her head. "No, I saw him. He has a notebook. He writes down everything we do. His is always there." Helen's stomach sank. Something primal told her the child was right. Detective Daniels and his team tried to warn the neighborhood, but there was little they could do. The police presence had caused Finch to disappear, but no one had the slightest clue where he went. And that was Finch's genius. He didn't need to stay in one place. He could observe, track, and manipulate from afar. Every family on the street was part of his experiment. Every home a subject in his meticulous study of human behavior. Daniels studied the notebooks. Finch had detailed the Langston family as his next target, noting their routines. When the children left for school, Helen's schedule at work, David's hours at the office. Everything recorded in painstaking detail. One night, Helen came home late from her shift at the hospital. David was asleep on the couch. Emma and her siblings were already in bed. The house was quiet, too quiet. And then she noticed it. A light in the attic. Dim, flickering, deliberate. She froze. Her heart pounded as she crept upstairs, peering through the narrow hallway. From the attic window, she caught a glimpse, a shadow. A figure hunched over a notebook, scribbling furiously. Her blood ran cold. She backed away slowly, reaching for her phone. But the screen was dead. And then the figure moved. Not down the stairs. Not out the front door. But toward another exit. The house wasn't big, but the figure seemed to vanish into the shadows, slipping away as if it had never been there. Helen rushed to the living room. David was stirring, sensing her panic. "What is it?" he asked groggily. "There's someone in the attic," she whispered. I don't know. He was watching us." "He?" David's brow furrowed. "A burglar?" Helen shook her head. "No, it's not like that. I saw him writing. He knew everything about us." David's expression hardened. "We need to call the police. Now." The next day, Daniels and Ruiz arrived. Daniels had spent the night analyzing Finch's past and plotting a way to anticipate his next move. "We know he's targeting you," Daniels said bluntly to Helen. "We know he observes everything. He's methodical, meticulous, and dangerous. You cannot, under any circumstances, leave the house alone. Do not let the children out of sight. Lock every door, every window. He's watching." Helen felt her world shrink to the size of her living room. She hugged her children tightly. "I don't understand," she said. "Why us? Why Cedar Glen?" Daniels shook his head. "He doesn't choose randomly. He's obsessive. He picks families, studies them, and then decides when to strike. That's why the McAllisters disappeared. And if we're not careful, you'll be next." That night, the Langston house felt like a prison. The children slept in the same room. Helen and David took turns watching the house. Every shadow, every creak, every flicker of light in the neighborhood set their nerves on edge. But Finch was patient. He didn't need to act immediately. Observation alone was enough to destabilize them. The fear, the paranoia, the constant feeling of being watched, it was all part of his design. He had spent decades perfecting this. The psychological pressure was his weapon. And Cedar Glen, once idyllic and safe, had become his canvas. Late that night, Daniels monitored the neighborhood from his car. His radio crackled, and Officer Ruiz's voice came through. "Detective, I think he's here, near the Langston house. I see movement, attic window. Someone's there." Daniels felt a chill. Finch had returned, just as he always did. Across the street, Finch scribbled in a new notebook. The Langston family routines carefully noted. their vulnerabilities highlighted. The final notes of this page read, "They feel watched. Good. Fear sharpens them. Panic will teach them obedience. Observation is enough for now. The next phase begins." Daniels watched the window, heart pounding, knowing that the real terror was just beginning. The Langstons were safe, for now. But Finch was patient, and patience, combined with obsession, was deadly. The Langston house had become a fortress. Locks reinforced, windows sealed, cameras installed at every entrance. Detective Daniels had stationed officers around the block, but even that didn't relieve the tension. Every shadow seemed sinister. Every creak of a floorboard made Helen flinch. Every glance at the attic window sent a shiver down her spine. Finch wasn't in a hurry. That was his advantage. Patience was the weapon he wielded with precision. Inside his hiding place, which no one knew, he observed. He had spent hours studying the Langstons, noting weaknesses and creating scenarios. Unlike the McAllisters, Helen's family was cautious. They were aware, alert. But Finch had learned long ago that fear alone could break even the strongest defenses. The first step was isolation. Helen's phone began to malfunction. Calls to friends and family dropped inexplicably. Text messages went unread. Emails never sent. Internet connections flickered. Every attempt to contact the outside world seemed blocked. "Why won't my phone work?" Helen asked, frantic, pacing the living room. David examined the device. "I don't know. It's like something's interfering. Maybe a service outage." Daniels, monitoring remotely, frowned. "Not a coincidence. Finch is clever enough to manipulate communication lines. He wants you cut off, completely isolated." That night, a new level of paranoia settled in. Every creak, every gust of wind against the windows, every flicker of the streetlights felt amplified. Emma clutched her blanket tightly. "Mom, I see him. He's outside. I know it." Helen hugged her daughter. "There's nobody there, sweetheart. It's just shadows." But Emma shook her head. "No, he's always there. Watching. Waiting." David turned toward the window, heart racing. A shadow moved past the curtains of the opposite attic. For just a moment, it seemed to linger. Then it vanished. The psychological games had begun. Finch didn't need to enter the house to terrorize the Langstons. He only needed to make them feel watched, trapped, constantly on edge. In his notebooks, Finch wrote meticulously, "Fear is teaching. Isolation is shaping. Observe responses. Record weaknesses. Phase 2 approaching." Daniels met with his team late at night. He laid out what Finch was doing. He's not violent yet, not physically, but he's breaking them down. Psychological manipulation. He's methodical. Every family he's targeted has reached a breaking point. The Langstons won't be an exception. Ruiz rubbed his face. "How do you stop someone who doesn't play by normal rules? Who doesn't even physically confront you?" Daniels shook his head. "You anticipate. You predict. You trap him with his own patterns." The next morning, Finch escalated. Helen found envelopes slipped under the front door. Each was addressed personally. Handwriting precise, almost artistic, yet unsettlingly familiar. Inside, small notes detailed her routines. Her children's school times. David's work schedule. Even grocery runs and errands were recorded. One note read simply, "You cannot hide. I know where you are. I know what you do. Stay alert. Watch your shadows." Helen trembled, clutching the paper. "David, he knows everything. He's inside our lives." David tried to remain rational, but fear gnawed at him. "We need to stay calm. We can't let him see that we're scared." Emma whispered from the corner, "He's in my room sometimes. I hear him, breathing." Helen froze. "Emma, no." The realization hit like a sledgehammer. Finch didn't need to be seen to be effective. His presence alone, real or imagined, was enough to manipulate, intimidate, and break the family. Daniels, monitoring the neighborhood, noticed patterns in Finch's previous targets. In every case, the escalation followed the same sequence: observe, isolate, manipulate, terrorize, and finally, removal. He explained to his team, he's teaching them fear, step by step, and he knows exactly how far he can push them before they break. He's a predator unlike any we've dealt with. We need to find him before the next phase begins. That night, Finch observed the Langston home from a distance, a dark silhouette against the shadows of the trees. Notebook in hand, he recorded reactions. Helen pacing, David alert, children restless, fear increasing, communication disrupted, perfect isolation, phase 2 ready. He smirked. The Langstons were now vulnerable. Fear had taken root. Paranoia had begun to distort reality. Every sound, every shadow, every flicker of light was his tool. And the worst part, the family didn't know how much they had already fallen under his control. Meanwhile, Daniels devised a plan to confront Finch. He knew a direct confrontation might be dangerous. Finch had studied patterns, always stayed one step ahead. We need to lure him, Daniels said. Draw him out. Make him think he's winning, then we trap him. Otherwise, he'll keep moving, and no family will be safe. Officer Ruiz nodded grimly. How do you trap someone who knows every pattern, every routine? Daniel's eyes narrowed. You become unpredictable. Break your own routines. Use the pattern against him. That night, the Langstons stayed on high alert. Every noise amplified. Every shadow a threat. The flickering light from the attic became unbearable. Finch moved closer, unseen, unknown. Recording, observing, calculating. Inside the house, Helen whispered to David, "We can't last like this forever. He's going to break us. I can feel it." David's jaw tightened. "We have to survive until they catch him. We have to survive each night." Emma peeked from behind the curtains, her eyes wide. "He's smiling at me," she whispered. "I saw him. He knows I'm afraid." Helen held her daughter tightly. "I know, baby. I know." And outside, Finch wrote in his notebook, smirking in the darkness. "Fear is growing. Obedience is shaping. Next phase begins. They are mine until the pattern is complete." Cedar Glen, once quiet and safe, had become a living experiment. And the Langstons were the next subjects. The Langstons' lives had become a waking nightmare. No longer was Finch merely observing from afar. His manipulations had begun to infiltrate the very rhythm of their daily existence. Sleep came in restless fragments, filled with the imagined sound of footsteps and faint scribbling from the attic. Every door slammed, every distant creak of a branch set hearts racing. Helen paced the kitchen late one night, coffee cooling in her hands. "David, we can't go on like this. He's in our heads. I can't think straight." David's face was pale, dark circles under his eyes. "We have to endure until the police catch him. We can't let him win." Emma tugged at her mother's sleeve. "Mom, he touched my window." Helen froze. Her hands shook. "Touched your what?" Emma pointed toward the window pane. "There are fingerprints. I saw them. His closer now. I can feel it." David walked to the window. The glass was cold beneath his fingers. Small smudges, delicate but deliberate, were etched into the surface. Not just random touches, something calculated. Daniels monitored the situation from his car parked across the street. He had stationed multiple units along the block, but Finch had adapted. Every time the police presence increased, he simply retreated, only to return elsewhere. Finch's movements were unpredictable yet deliberate. Daniels spoke into his radio, voice low. "He's testing them now. Isolation wasn't enough. He's moving to direct interference. That's how he escalates. We need eyes on every exit, every window, every neighbor. Nothing goes unnoticed." Back at Finch's vantage point, hidden in the shadows of the trees across the street, he watched the Langstons like a predator studying its prey. He carried a small notebook in which he recorded their every move, every reaction, every misstep. Helen pacing, heart rate elevated. David scanning the yard. Children restless. Phase 2, psychological intrusion in effect. Direct engagement unnecessary but planned. Observation alone insufficient. Finch's next move was subtle yet terrifying. Late one evening, David returned from work to find a mailbox ripped open. Inside were letters that weren't addressed to him but contained intimate knowledge. Helen's conversations with her co-workers, Emma's anxieties, even financial details he had never mentioned outside the house. "David, this isn't just observation. He's inside our lives," Helen whispered, trembling. The police had advised not to handle the materials. Daniels arrived immediately, collecting the letters and noting the meticulous handwriting, the precise attention to detail, and the unnerving insight into the family's private lives. "This is beyond stalking," Daniels said grimly. "This is psychological warfare, and is escalating. We're dealing with someone who doesn't just observe. He manipulates, intrudes, and controls." Phase 2 of Finch's plan wasn't just observation anymore, it was infiltration. Small things began happening inside the Langston house. Drawers were left slightly open. Objects moved slightly from where Helen had placed them. Food in the refrigerator rearranged. A single book left open on a desk with a note that read, "I know what you read. I know what you see. I am always here." The children noticed first. Emma refused to sleep alone. Her little brother, Lucas, refused to play in the living room. Even the family dog, Max, was unsettled, whining and pacing as though sensing an unseen presence. David tried to rationalize. "It's just someone messing with us, maybe a neighbor." Helen shook her head violently. "No, it's him. He's here. He's always here. He's watching. I know it." Daniels had begun plotting Finch's capture. He studied the previous disappearances, trying to predict Finch's next move. Each previous phase escalated systematically: observation, isolation, psychological intrusion, then removal. Daniels feared he was already too late. That night, Finch made his most daring move yet. From his hiding place, he entered the Langston yard. Not breaking in, not visibly intrusive, but enough to mark his presence. Footprints carefully placed, garden tools subtly rearranged, a single note pinned to the front door. Phase 2 complete. Fear is rising. Phase 3 begins when the night is darkest. You cannot hide from what watches. Helen screamed when she found it. David immediately called Daniels. Daniels drove over, flashlight in hand, and examined the yard. The footprints were deliberate, precise, calculated to instill terror, but not enough to be immediately actionable as a crime scene. "He's teaching them fear," Daniels muttered. "He's escalating. Every move is designed to destabilize, to isolate them further, to push them toward whatever his endgame is." As the night stretched on, Finch returned to the shadows, notebook in hand. He wrote detailed accounts of the Langstons' reactions. Helen panicked. David angry but cautious. Children terrified. Max anxious. Fear is deepening. Experiment progressing. Observational notes continue. Cedar Glen itself had transformed under Finch's influence. Streets once lively with neighbors waving hello were now quiet, almost deserted. People stayed inside, curtains drawn. Whispered rumors of the Watcher spread like wildfire. Daniels realized Finch's influence wasn't limited to direct targets. It was a contagion, spreading fear across the neighborhood. And Finch thrived in it. The next day, Daniels met with his team. "We need to draw him out," he said. "He won't act directly until he knows the family is destabilized. We use the pattern against him. He underestimates us when we become unpredictable." Ruiz frowned. "You mean, bait him?" Daniels nodded. "Exactly. But carefully. One misstep, and the family is lost. He's unpredictable, patient, and methodical. But even he has limits. We just have to find them." That night, the Langstons huddled together, the house filled with tension so thick it could be cut with a knife. Footsteps in the hallway, a shadow at the window, a notebook left conspicuously on the desk. "Mom, I can hear him breathing," whispered Emma. Helen clutched her daughter, tears streaming down her face. "I know, baby. I know." David stood at the window, jaw tight. "We endure. We survive. That's all we can do." And in the darkness, Finch wrote his notes. Phase 2 successful. Fear and paranoia intensified. Isolation complete. Observational data rich. Phase 3, removal, is imminent. Cedar Glen was no longer safe. The Langstons were his next subjects, and Finch's obsession with control and fear had only begun to escalate. The Langstons had reached the point of exhaustion. Days blurred into nights. Sleep became a fleeting memory, interrupted by shadows and creaking floors. Every sound, every flicker of light, every whisper outside the house gnawed at their nerves. Finch's games had escalated from observation to intrusion, and now it was about control. Detective Daniels and his team had been working around the clock. The problem wasn't just finding Finch, it was predicting him. Every previous family he had targeted had followed the same destructive pattern: fear, isolation, psychological breakdown, and finally, disappearance. The McAllisters had vanished without a trace. Daniels feared the same outcome for the Langstons. Finch's third phase had begun. From an undisclosed location, he watched the Langstons' every move. But he didn't just observe anymore. He manipulated. Small incidents escalated. Locks that were never engaged became jammed. Appliances failed just when Helen needed them most. The children's toys disappeared only to be found in strange places. Notes appeared on pillows, mirrors, and even inside lunchboxes. You cannot escape. Choices are yours, but only what I allow. Helen screamed when she found one taped to the inside of Emma's school bag. David read it aloud in disbelief. This is psychological torture. He wants us to react in a certain way. Daniels, reviewing surveillance and Finch's past tactics, realized the horrifying truth. Finch didn't just terrify his targets. He manipulated their decisions, forcing them into impossible choices. Families broken by fear, pushed to extremes, until they made a single mistake. That mistake allowed Finch to strike. That night, Finch approached his ultimate test. He slipped into the Langstons' yard, not to enter, but to signal, to taunt, to push. A single light in the attic window flickered on, casting elongated shadows across the living room. Outside, a string of notes spelled a chilling sequence. Tonight you must choose. One path leads to safety. One path leads to mine. Helen's hands shook as she clutched the final note. David, what does this mean? David ran his fingers through his hair. It's a game. He's trying to force us to act. He wants to see how we respond. Emma cried, I don't want to play. Daniels, monitoring remotely, felt a surge of dread. Finch was no longer content to simply observe or frighten. He was orchestrating decisions, controlling outcomes, dictating fear and action. The Langstons huddled together, discussing their choices. Every suggestion carried consequences. Should we leave the house? Helen asked, panic in her eyes. David shook his head. No. If we go outside, he'll know. He's prepared for that. He's testing us. He wants us to fail. Maybe we should split up, Emma whispered. Helen's head snapped toward her. No. Never. You're not alone. Not ever. Finch observed from a distance, taking careful notes. Every hesitation, every fear-filled glance, every whispered word was catalogued. He delighted in the struggle, in the torment, in the absolute control he held over their reality. Meanwhile, Daniels and his team worked furiously to identify Finch's next move. They analyzed patterns, looked for his weak points, predicted his manipulations, but Finch's brilliance was maddening. He never repeated mistakes, never exposed himself unnecessarily. Daniels realized they had only one advantage: unpredictability. Finch relied on patterns. Break the pattern, force him to reveal himself. Inside the Langston house, tension reached a breaking point. Small escalations became terrifying events. Lights flickered violently. Objects moved in impossible ways. A shattered vase lay on the floor, with a note tucked beneath it. Careful, every step matters. One wrong choice and it is the end. David clenched his fists. He's trying to push us to act irrationally. Helen's hands trembled. I don't know how much longer we can last. Every night, it's worse. Every shadow, it's him. Always him. Finch, hidden in the darkness outside, scribbled again in his notebook. Fear is mastery. Observation complete. Manipulation effective. Next phase, action, is imminent. The family debated again. Every choice seemed fatal. Should they leave the house? Finch had made it clear the outcome would be catastrophic. Should they stay? Finch's manipulations could escalate further, pushing them to exhaustion, panic, and despair. Should they call for help? Communications were compromised. They couldn't be sure Finch wasn't monitoring every call. The night seemed endless. The shadows shifted. The air was thick with terror. And then it happened. A faint scratching at the window. A subtle movement. The door to the basement creaked open. Nothing visible, but the family knew it. He was inside the house now. Not physically perhaps, but psychologically, emotionally, controlling the environment. Helen whispered, "He's here. He's inside, even if he's not in the room." is here. David's face hardened. Then we endure. We survive. One step at a time. No panic. We are stronger than fear. Daniels watched the feed, heart pounding. Finch's escalation to Phase 3 was precise, relentless, and terrifying. The manipulations forced the family to make impossible choices, every decision potentially fatal. And Finch reveled in it. From the shadows, Finch's notebook recorded each reaction. Helen panicking, David trying to rationalize, children distressed, fear deepening, decisions constrained, action imminent. The pattern continues. The family's endurance was being tested, pushed to the brink of human capability. Every breath, every glance, every heartbeat was monitored, catalogued, and analyzed. And as the night wore on, Daniels realized the terrifying reality. Finch wasn't just a watcher anymore. He was a puppeteer. Every choice the family made, every panic-fueled reaction, every attempt at resistance, it was all part of his experiment. Cedar Glen had become his laboratory. The Langstons were his subjects. And Finch's obsession with fear, control, and observation was only beginning to reach its terrifying climax. The Langstons had been awake for hours, no, days. Sleep had become a memory, one they clung to only in whispered recollections of before Finch had taken control of their lives. Every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of light, every distant shadow became amplified. Fear had calcified into obsession. Detective Daniels had been coordinating officers in shifts around the neighborhood, but Finch had adapted to every precaution. Cameras had been disabled in subtle ways, motion sensors misdirected. Even the police presence seemed to feed Finch's game rather than deter him. Daniels knew the next step had to be calculated, precise, and daring. Finch was watching from a distance, hidden in the perimeter of Cedar Glen. He had remained unseen, the ultimate predator, studying his subjects as he manipulated the environment. But tonight, he would escalate. Phase 4, control through chaos, was ready to begin. Small disturbances began almost immediately. The front door, locked twice, was now slightly ajar as a note appeared on the kitchen counter. Choices matter. Every step, every breath, observed. Lights in the house flickered in deliberate patterns, synchronized to create uncertainty and panic. Emma's favorite doll, placed carefully on her bed earlier, now sat across the room with a new note. You cannot protect what you love. Helen clutched the doll in her hands, tears streaming. David is inside everything now. His controlling our house. David's face was pale, jaw tight. We endure. We survive. That's all we can do. Daniels had spent the past hours analyzing Finch's past behaviors, trying to anticipate his next move. The McAllisters' disappearance and the notes left behind had revealed a terrifying pattern. Finch escalated in stages, each more invasive than the last, until the family was psychologically broken. Only then did he act decisively. Daniels knew they had to trap Finch, but he had to make it seem like the Langstons were isolated, vulnerable, and unaware. Any hint of police presence might send Finch fleeing. A plan was devised. Reinforce the Langston house covertly with hidden cameras and microphones, use unmarked police units to monitor all surrounding streets, simulate vulnerability, turn off some systems, allow certain disturbances to occur, wait for Finch to act, forcing him to reveal himself. That evening, Finch began his manipulations in earnest. From his vantage point, he orchestrated small events. A single window left open in the rear of the house, a carefully placed note slipped under the living room rug. You cannot hide. The watcher knows all. Subtle sounds, footsteps, taps, whispers, emanating from the attic and hallways. Helen's hands trembled as she read the notes, her voice barely audible. David, his everywhere. I can feel it, even in the walls, even in the shadows. David took her hand firmly. We endure. We survive. One breath at a time. No panic. Emma and Lucas clung to their mother, whispering that they could hear the watcher's footsteps in the hallway. The family huddled together, trying to convince themselves it was imagination. But deep down, they knew better. Daniels monitored every movement remotely, watching Finch's predictable escalation. He's pushing them, Daniels whispered. He wants them to act rashly. That's when he makes a mistake, reveals himself. Finch escalated further. He manipulated the electricity, creating sudden blackouts throughout the house. Each blackout lasted seconds, but in those moments, fear became tangible. Emma screamed every time the room went dark. Helen clutched her daughter tightly, whispering words of reassurance that she barely believed herself. David, meanwhile, tried to maintain order. He lit candles, reinforced doors, and monitored the windows. But Finch's intrusion was subtle, precise, and unrelenting. Every movement was catalogued, every reaction observed. From his notebook, Finch scribbled, fear rising, obedience shaping, reaction predictable. Phase 4, psychological dominance, ready to escalate to physical confrontation if necessary. The pattern is complete. Daniels coordinated with his team, knowing that they had only a short window to act. Finch's meticulous nature made him cautious, but every step he took brought him closer to revealing himself. Daniels hoped their trap was precise enough to finally capture the Watcher. Inside the Langston house, the family faced their ultimate test. Finch had orchestrated a scenario designed to force their hands. The basement light flickered, casting eerie shadows across the walls. The front door was discovered unlocked, tempting the family to flee, but a new note appeared on the kitchen counter. Decide. One action ensures safety. One action ensures chaos. Your choice reveals your fate. Helen's hands shook violently. David, what do we do? If we open the door, we don't know what happens. David clenched his fists. We don't act rashly. We follow Daniel's instructions. We endure. We survive. Nothing else matters. Emma whispered, his smiling at me from outside. Helen's blood ran cold. No, baby, don't see him like that. Finch, hidden in the darkness, observed every heartbeat, every tremor, every hesitation. His notebook recorded meticulous details. Helen panicking slightly. David rationalizing. Children distressed. Fear escalating. Phase 4 complete. Immediate observation required. Daniels prepared his team for a final move. They had positioned officers around the property and surrounding streets.
Welcome
Hidden
to
cameras
Midnight
and
Sleep
microphones captured every
I'm
sound,
here to help you
every
relax
movement.
tonight.
The strategy was simple.
I know many of
Make
you
Finch
use
act,
this video to fall
force him to
asleep.
reveal himself.
So before you
But
get too
simplicity
cozy,
was
don't
deceptive.
forget to like the video
Finch's genius
and subscribe
lay in
to the channel.
anticipating every possible
Also,
scenario.
let me know where you're watching
And then it
from
happened.
and what time
A
it is
shadow
there.
moved across the front yard.
I'd love to hear from
too
you.
deliberate, too precise
Story
to be
1.
random. The flicker of light
A
from the
remodeling
attic
crew
window
in Michigan
revealed a
was
figure
tearing up
crouched,
a 19th
poised,
century farmhouse
observing
floor
the family.
when they found a
Now,
trap door.
Daniels whispered into
What
his
was
radio.
inside led to a
Officers
statewide
converged
investigation.
silently.
5
Hidden cameras
exhumations,
recorded Finch's
and the unmasking of a killer
Every
who
action
had hidden in plain
calculated.
sight
Every
for
step
over 40
deliberate.
years.
The Langstons,
In
huddled
2023,
together,
contractor
were
Luis
unaware
Romero
of the
and
trap
his crew
about to close
began
around him.
renovations on an old
Finch,
farmhouse
sensing a
outside
shift in the
Kalamazoo.
environment,
While
hesitated
removing
for
the
the
rotted
first
living
time.
room floor,
The pattern,
they
his
discover
own
a
pattern,
hidden trapdoor
was disrupted.
sealed shut with bolts
His instinct
and concrete.
screamed caution. But
Inside
obsession,
is a narrow
curiosity,
staircase that leads
and
to a
arrogance
fully
pushed him
preserved
forward.
1970s
Daniel's
children's
voice
bedroom,
cut through the night over a
untouched,
loudspeaker.
with toys,
Harold Finch,
posters,
step
and a
away
bed
from the
still
house.
made.
You are under arrest.
At first, the room
figure
seems like an
froze.
eerie
A
historical
moment of
oddity,
silence. And
until
then,
they find
with
human
startling
teeth in a
speed,
jewelry box
Finch
on the
retreated
dresser.
toward the shadows,
The
vanishing
case
as quickly
quickly
as he had
unravels
appeared.
decades of secrets
Daniels
tied
cursed
to the
under his
house's
breath.
original owners,
Finch had escaped
the Harlan
again.
family.
But this time,
The
they
youngest
had
daughter,
more
Rosie
video
Harlan,
evidence,
had gone
patterns,
missing in
and detailed
1981
observations
at the
of
age
his
of 9.
tactics.
But police
Inside,
had no evidence,
Helen clutched Emma
and the
Lucas.
family claimed she'd
David
run away.
exhaled, relief mixed with fear.
Over the years,
We
multiple
survived
foster
tonight,
children
he
placed
said
in the
quietly.
home also disappeared
But he's
or
still
died
out
under
there.
suspicious
Finch,
circumstances.
crouched in
Yet
the
the
darkness,
case files were
flipped
scattered
through his
and never
notebook.
connected.
A faint smile appeared.
The discovery
The
leads to a
experiment
massive
continues.
forensic effort
They
that
survived
uncovers
this
5
night,
victims.
but the pattern endures.
But the biggest shock
Observation
comes
eternal.
when a now elderly
Phase
man,
5 awaits.
a retired police
Cedar
detective
Glen had
who
survived
originally
another
cleared
night.
the Harlans,
But Finch's
is
influence,
exposed as being
his
part of
terror,
the cover-up.
and his obsession had only
His
deepened.
connection to the Harlans
The Watcher
runs
remained
deeper than
unseen,
anyone imagined.
unpredictable, and terrifyingly methodical.
The preserved
Cedar
bedroom
Glen was no
never
longer
meant
the
to be
quiet,
found.
suburban
It
neighborhood
was
it
built
once
as a
was.
memorial by
The
someone
air was
with a
heavy with
conscience.
fear, and the streets
Someone
were
who
filled
left
with
behind
cautious,
a final
watchful
letter
residents,
explaining everything.
curtains drawn, eyes
Kalamazoo,
flicking nervously
Michigan,
at the shadows.
May 3rd,
Finch had transformed the
2023.
town into his
Luis
psychological
Romero
laboratory,
wasn't one for
and the
superstition.
Langstons were at the
He'd
center
torn
of
up
it.
enough old floors
Detective
and walls
Daniels
over
knew
the
time
years
was
to know
running
that
out.
sometimes
Finch had
creaking
escalated
noises
through
and cold
phases 1 to
spots
4
were
with
just bad
ruthless
insulation
precision.
and worse
Phase
plumbing.
5, the final
But this
escalation,
house felt
was
different.
imminent. He gathered his
The
team
job
in a
was
quiet
simple
room
enough.
near the Langston house.
Restore a
He's
dilapidated
meticulous.
1880s
He
farmhouse
studies
for a young
patterns,
couple
routines,
planning to turn
and
it
behaviors,
into a countryside
Daniel
Airbnb.
said, pointing at a
The
digital map
property
of the
had been
neighborhood.
vacant for decades.
He knows our position.
Passed down through
He knows our
inheritance,
limitations.
rarely touched.
But he has a flaw, arrogance.
A minor fixer-upper,
He underestimates
they said,
unpredictability.
until Romero's crew pulled
Officer
up the
Ruiz
floorboards
frowned.
in the main room.
You really think we can
It
catch
was
him
Luis's
tonight?
apprentice, Kenny,
After everything
who
he's
first
done.
found the edge of it.
Daniels
A
nodded grimly.
steel-reinforced
We have
trapdoor,
to. If we
completely
fail,
sealed with
the
old
Langstons
cement and
and
rusted
any family
bolts.
on this street won't survive.
Hey, boss?
Finch
Kenny
isn't
called,
just dangerous.
tapping his crowbar
He's
against
obsessive,
the edge.
intelligent, and
You
patient.
see this?
But he can't anticipate
Luis knelt
chaos
down,
he hasn't planned
running his
for.
hand across the surface.
Back at the Langston house,
It was flush
fear
with
had
the
become a
joists,
living, breathing
expertly
entity.
disguised.
The children
He
refused
followed the
to
bolts
sleep.
with his eyes.
Helen and David had
Someone
taken
had gone to
shifts
great
keeping
lengths
watch.
to make sure this
Every
door
shadow,
stayed shut.
every creak of the
Get the
floorboards,
grinder,
every flicker
Luis
of
muttered.
light made hearts pound.
We're opening it.
The attic window, a portal
The
to terror,
trapdoor.
remained ominously dark.
The air changed
Finch,
the moment
crouched
they
in the
cracked
shadows
seal.
across the street,
A musty, cold
studied them with
draft
cold
crept out
precision.
from below.
Phase 5 had
Kenny
begun.
leaned in with a
The
flashlight
manipulation
and frowned.
escalated.
It
Candles
stares,
flickered
he
violently
said.
in sync with
Leads
sounds of
down.
movement outside.
But it's weird.
The dog backed
Looks
incessantly
like
at shadows
finished
that weren't
walls.
there. Notes appeared in the most
The
personal
hole
places.
opened into a narrow
Inside
stairwell,
pillows,
perfectly
lunch
preserved.
boxes, even under
As
the
they
children's
descended,
beds.
it felt less
Each
like
message
a basement
carried the
and more
same
like a
chilling
capsule
undertone.
from another time.
I see you. I
At
know
the
your
bottom
every
was
thought.
a small door
The
with
final
floral
phase is
wallpaper
near.
peeling at the edges.
Helen clutched a note,
Behind it,
hands
a
trembling.
room no larger
David,
than 10 by 10
his,
feet.
is controlling
A
everything.
pink bed with
Is
ruffled
everywhere.
sheets sat perfectly
David's
made.
jaw tightened.
A small
We endure.
dresser, toy
We
chest,
survive.
and bookshelf
That's all
lined
we
the
can do.
walls.
Daniels
Movie
had devised
posters
a
from
risky
the
strategy.
1970s.
Using
The Rescuers,
surveillance,
Star
decoys,
Wars,
and
Pete's
hidden
Dragon
units,
were
they
pinned
intended
up
to
like
force
someone had
Finch
just
into
been
the
there.
open. The plan was
Dust
simple
lay
but
everywhere,
dangerous.
but nothing
Simulate
had
a
been
vulnerability
disturbed.
in the Langston house,
A dollhouse
enough to lure
sat open
Finch
on
into
the floor.
direct action,
On the
but maintain
nightstand,
enough
a
control
Mickey
to
Mouse
trap him
lamp
once he
flickered
revealed
when Luis
himself.
tried the switch.
Daniels knew that Finch's brilliance
This-
lay in patience,
This doesn't
observation,
make sense,
and manipulation.
Kenny whispered.
But even the most meticulous
Luis opened
predator
the
could be
closet.
drawn into the wrong
Inside
place
were
at
a
the
row
wrong
of tiny
time.
dresses,
That
all
night,
neatly hung,
Finch took
and a
the bait.
shoebox.
From his
He
shadowed
opened it.
vantage point, he saw the
Inside,
simulated
nestled among
vulnerability,
yellowed hair
a
ribbons
faint glow
and
in the
paper
living
dolls
room,
were
objects
6
left slightly
human teeth.
askew, a door left
The
unlocked.
call the police were
Every
called
detail
immediately.
designed to lure him.
Within
He approached
hours,
slowly,
the farmhouse was roped
calculating,
off,
confident.
and the county coroner
He had
arrived
observed
with
patterns,
2 forensic techs.
predicted reactions.
Detective
and now,
Ellen
he
Glass of the
believed
Kalamazoo
he could
Sheriff's
manipulate the
Department
family
took
to
the
the
lead.
brink one final time.
The first thing
Inside
she
the
noticed,
house, Helen whispered
the
to
room
David,
wasn't built with
"Is
the
here.
rest of the house.
I can feel it."
The walls
His
were
watching,
newer, the construction
waiting.
modern.
David
It
nodded.
had been created
We
within
endure.
the house
Stay calm.
and expertly hidden.
Follow the plan. Finch entered
What
the
we
yard,
have, she
silent
said
and
during the
deliberate.
initial press briefing,
His shadow stretched
is a
across the
crime
lawn
scene
like a
that may
dark
date
omen.
back over
He
4
moved
decades.
with purpose,
We
unaware
believe
that
this was
hidden
a
cameras
concealed
and
living
officers
space,
surrounded him,
and there
every
is strong
movement
indication
recorded,
that a
every
child
step
lived here for some
anticipated.
time.
He slipped inside the living room,
But what shocked her
carefully
most
avoiding the obvious
wasn't the room.
surveillance points,
It was
and
the
left a
house's
single
history.
note on the coffee table.
The
Do
property
you
had
feel the
belonged
fear
to the
yet?
Harlan family
This is only the
until
beginning.
1997,
Daniels,
when the
watching
last
remotely,
surviving member,
gave the
Anne
signal.
Harlan, was
Officers
placed
closed
in
in
hospice
quietly.
care.
But Finch
The
wasn't
Harlans
finished.
had 4 children,
He had one final
but
act
only
of
3 remained
psychological
in the
terror
public
planned.
record after
He
1981.
approached Helen and the children,
The
whispering
youngest,
from the shadows.
Rosie Harlan,
"You
had
cannot
been listed
escape.
as a runaway at
Every
age
door,
9.
every window,
The official
every
report
breath,
was thin.
mine. Choices
no
are
signs
meaningless.
of foul play,
Fear is
no
eternal."
autopsy.
Helen screamed,
evidence.
clutching her children tightly.
But now,
David
a child's
lunged
room was
toward
buried
Finch,
beneath the house.
but the figure vanished in the
One that
shadows,
no one had known
moving
existed.
faster than the eye could
A
follow.
room designed
It was
to
the
be
first
locked,
real confrontation.
forgotten.
Daniels realized
The
Finch's
survivor.
ability to manipulate space,
3 days
light,
later, the
and
story
perception
broke
gave him near
statewide.
supernatural agility.
Images of the
The
hidden
officers
room
rushed
appeared
in,
across
and
news
chaos
channels.
erupted in the
The
Langston
headline
yard.
reading,
Finch
"Secret
fought with
child's room
calculated
found beneath
precision.
19th century
He wasn't
farmhouse
reckless.
in
Every
Kalamazoo."
movement was designed to test,
That's when the phone
intimidate,
call came.
and escape. The
Detective
officers
Glass
hesitated,
picked up on the third
aware that
ring.
one misstep could endanger
"This is
the
Ellen,"
family.
she said.
Daniels shouted over the
The
commotion.
voice on the other end
"Focus.
was shaky.
Don't let him slip
elderly.
away."
A man.
Finch, sensing the trap,
"I know that house,"
adapted
he
instantly.
said.
He
"I
vaulted
lived
over the
next door
fence,
until '84.
disappearing into the
My
darkness.
name is Martin and Blanchard.
But in his haste,
I remember
a
Rosie.
single notebook fell from his
Ellen's
jacket.
ears perked up.
Daniel's team recovered
You were
it
neighbors
immediately.
with the Harlans?
Inside,
Yeah,
Finch's
he
meticulous
said.
records were revealed.
And I remember
Every
things.
detail of the Langstons'
Screaming mostly.
routines.
And
Notes
once
on
she threw a note
psychological
over the
reactions
fence.
to each disturbance,
just a
escalation
teenager.
plans for
I
Phase
didn't do
5
anything.
maps of escape routes,
What did the note
observation
say?
points, and
There
potential
was silence for a
contingencies.
moment.
Daniels exhaled,
She wrote,
holding the notebook.
I'm not allowed to
This
leave,
is it.
but I'm still here.
This is how we catch him.
Please tell someone.
Back in the Langston
My name
house,
is Rosie.
Helen, David, and the children
A
huddled
pattern
together,
emerges.
exhausted, trembling,
The cold case
yet
unit
alive.
began a full
Emma whispered,
reinvestigation of
"Is it
Rosie's
over?"
disappearance.
Helen hugged her tightly.
While combing through the
For
original
now,
police
maybe.
files,
But we
Detective
survived.
Glass found
That's what
inconsistencies.
Daniels,
Officers' notes
reviewing the
missing,
notebook,
evidence
realized
never
Finch's
processed,
obsession was now his undoing.
and one name stood out.
His meticulous records provided the
Detective
blueprint
Charles
for his capture.
Lenning, the lead
Finch,
investigator at the
meanwhile,
time,
had retreated
signed
into the
off on
shadows,
Rosie's case
smirking.
within 48 hours.
The pattern had been broken,
An unusually
his
short
observation
window
compromised,
for a child disappearance.
but the game was not yet over.
He had since retired,
Cedar Glen had
now
survived
living
another
2
night.
counties over.
The Langstons were scarred,
Glass
but
made
alive.
contact.
And Finch's obsession
What
with
do you
control,
remember about Rosie
fear,
Harlan?
and
She
observation was nearing its climax.
Run away, Lenning said.
The night
flatly.
hung over Cedar Glen
sign
like
of
a living
abduction.
shadow.
Parents said
Silence
she'd
was
been
shattered
troubled.
only by the occasional
was
rustle of
closed.
leaves and the
No
distant
foul
hum
play.
of streetlights.
You
The
didn't
Langston
find it
house,
odd that a
once a
9-year-old
place
could
of comfort,
disappear without a
had
trace?
become a fortress built on
I
fear and
followed
survival.
protocol.
For weeks,
If you're calling me 40
Finch
years
had
later,
orchestrated a symphony
then maybe
of
your
terror,
department's got time to
escalating
waste.
from distant observation
don't.
to manipulation,
Click.
to psychological games,
Something wasn't right.
and now to near-direct confrontation.
The dollhouse back
Detective
at the scene,
Daniels knew that
forensic
tonight
teams
would
began
determine the
inventorying
outcome.
the room.
Finch had made
Beneath
mistakes,
the bed was a crawl
but only
space
small
sealed with
ones,
plywood.
almost imperceptible.
Inside, they discovered
Those
a
small
metal
errors were all
lockbox.
Daniels needed to finally
Inside the
trap him.
lockbox was a
All
set of
units in
photographs.
position,
Polaroids
Daniels whispered over
curled
the
at the
radio.
edges,
Remember,
showing a young
observation
girl with red hair
first,
in various
engagement
poses.
only if necessary.
Some showed her smiling,
Do not underestimate
others
him.
crying.
He's clever,
But the
patient,
final
and
photo
dangerous.
chilled the entire team.
Inside the Langston house,
It was of Rosie
Helen sat in
standing
the living
beside
room,
the dollhouse,
clutching Emma
holding
and
up
Lucas
a sign
tightly.
written in crayon.
David sat nearby,
This is not my
scanning
home.
the darkened windows for any sign of
On the
movement.
roof of the dollhouse,
The family had become
forensic techs
hyper-aware of
noticed
every
something
sound,
strange.
every shadow.
Carved into
Even
the
the
shingles
creak of
with a blade
floorboards,
were 7
once
sets of
mundane,
initials.
now felt
Only
like a
one
prelude to
matched someone
disaster.
they knew.
A faint tapping at the
R.H.,
front window
Rosie
drew
Harlan.
Helen's attention.
The
Her
rest,
breath caught. The
unknown.
window pane trembled as if
The room
responding
had
to an
become a
unseen
forensic
hand.
goldmine.
David placed a
and a
protective
nightmare.
arm around her.
Detective
It's okay.
Ellen Glass
Stay
stared
calm.
at the dollhouse on
Follow
the
the
evidence
plan.
table.
Finch observed
Each
from
carved
across
set
the
of
street,
initials was
crouched
cataloged
in
and
darkness,
magnified.
his notebook
7
in hand.
sets.
He had studied
belonged
every
to Rosie
reaction,
Harlan.
every routine,
The others?
every hesitation.
No mention of them
His
in any
obsession
Harlan
with
family
control
records.
was unyielding.
Glass
Tonight,
felt a pit
he
form
intended
in
to
her
push
stomach.
the Langstons past their
Assume the
breaking
worst,
point.
she
The
muttered.
tapping escalated
7
into a
sets of
slow,
initials.
deliberate knock.
7 kids.
Each strike synchronized with the
Desai
family's
nodded grimly.
heartbeat, designed to
If we're
instill
lucky,
terror.
Initials
Finch's
alone
words,
won't be all we have
unspoken
for
but
long.
felt in the air, seemed to
Digging
echo.
the records,
I see
Detective
you.
Glass
I know
requested
you.
all missing
There is
persons
no
reports
escape.
for children
Daniels
under
gave the
12
signal.
between
Hidden
1975
units
and
moved silently into
1985
position
in
around the
Kalamazoo
perimeter.
County and surrounding
Cameras
areas.
captured every angle.
The list
Finch's
was
pattern
longer
was
than she
predictable,
expected,
but only if he
and many had
revealed
gone
himself.
cold with only vague
Finch stepped
leads.
closer, confident.
She assigned
His
her team
patience,
to begin
his arrogance,
cross-referencing the initials
his
with
obsession
these
with
files.
control guided his movements.
The first match
He
came
would not
quick.
act recklessly.
TL
But tonight,
Timothy
the
Lasker,
temptation to
age
see the
10,
family's final
disappeared
reactions
while
was
walking
too
to
strong.
school in
Inside,
1979.
Helen whispered, David,
AW,
I can
Angela
feel
White,
him.
8,
He's closer
vanished
than
from
ever.
a grocery store parking
David
lot
nodded,
in
voice
1980.
steady. Then we
MC,
endure.
Maya
We
Carter,
survive.
6,
Stay together.
last seen leaving
Do
a
not
church
panic.
daycare in 1982.
The front door handle rattled, then
Each
twisted
case
slowly.
had one bizarre
Finch was
similarity.
testing their response.
Initial interviews with the
Heartbeats
Harlan
quickened.
family were
The
conducted,
children whimpered.
but not followed up.
Shadows flickered against the walls.
The Harlans always seemed
Daniel's
to have
voice crackled
just
in their
seen the
earpiece.
child
Hold.
nearby.
Do not
Or
engage.
claimed they knew nothing.
Wait for him to commit a
None
step.
were arrested,
Finch entered
None
the
were
threshold
searched.
of the house.
but the
His
Harlans
presence
were
was
in the
felt before
background of
seen,
everything.
a silent predator moving
family.
with calculated precision.
The
He
Harlan
left a
family
note on the
patriarch,
coffee table.
Walter Harlan,
Choices define
had died
you.
in 1992.
Fear strengthens me.
The same
Let us
year
see
the
how
house
you
was
respond.
first abandoned.
Helen's hands
He
shook
was a
as she
church
read the
deacon,
note aloud.
local handyman,
David scanned the
and
room,
often hosted
tense
Sunday
but
dinners
focused.
for neighbors.
We endure.
His wife,
That's
Ann
all
Harlan,
we can do.
had died in hospice
Finch
just
crouched
3
near the
years
window,
earlier.
observing, savoring
Photos
the fear.
from their home showed
But then,
the couple with their
a sudden
children.
shift.
Gregory,
He noticed the hidden
Sarah,
cameras,
Michael,
the
and
surveillance
Rosie.
units, the officers
Rosie had been
blending
the
into
youngest
the shadows.
by nearly 10 years.
For the first time,
Interviews
the
with
pattern he had
surviving community
meticulously
members
crafted
painted
was
a curious
disrupted.
portrait.
Daniels whispered into the
Harlans were
radio,
respected,
voice taut.
Helpful,
Now,
and devout.
engage carefully.
But
He
those
cannot
who knew
escape
them
this
well,
time.
or dared
Finch's
to question
eyes
them,
darted. His
spoke of
movements
secrets
became quicker, more
strictness,
precise,
and an
but the trap
unsettling
was
devotion to
closing.
privacy.
Officers began to converge
They always
silently.
locked their basement.
Every exit
One
was
former
covered,
neighbor said.
every angle monitored.
Always.
In a blur
Not
of
just a
motion,
latch.
Finch attempted
Heavy
to flee,
chains.
but Daniels
Like they were
anticipated
hiding
his
something
path.
alive.
Finch miscalculated,
A pattern.
just slightly,
Hidden
and
in
tripped,
plain sight glass
falling into the
widened
hidden
the
net
search.
of tactical units
She
waiting
pulled
to
property
restrain
records
him.
for the
The
Harlan
struggle
family's
was brief
business
but
dealings.
intense.
and discovered
Finch
Walter
fought
had
with strength
purchased
born
3
of
adjacent
obsession,
parcels of
every
land
movement
in the
deliberate.
early 1980s.
But he had underestimated the combination
Two
of
had been
preparation,
sold,
timing,
but one remained
and the
untouched
family's
and
survival
wooded.
instinct.
10 acres
Daniel
of
stepped
thick Michigan
forward,
forest.
handcuffs ready.
She
Harold
obtained a
Finch,
warrant and
you
headed
under
out
arrest.
with cadaver dogs.
Finch's face was a mask
On
of
the
fury
third day,
and disbelief.
they found the
You
first
think this
shallow
ends
grave,
here? You cannot
then a
contain
second,
what I have created.
then a third.
Fear is eternal.
Each grave contained
Daniels
the remains
remained
of a
calm.
child.
Not tonight.
Dental records
Tonight,
confirmed
it
what
ends.
Glass already feared.
The officers subdued Finch.
Timothy Lasker,
Every notebook,
Angela White,
every
and
device,
Maya Carter
every
had
carefully
all been buried
catalogued
there.
record of the Langstons'
Their
lives was
disappearances,
confiscated.
once scattered
Daniels
and forgotten,
examined them quickly,
were now fully
detailed
connected,
accounts of every
bound
psychological
together by the Harlan
manipulation,
name.
every intrusion,
The fifth
every
victim.
step of the plan meticulously
Meanwhile,
recorded.
forensic
Finch's
techs
brilliance
made a
was
discovery
undeniable,
inside the
but
secret
so was his
room's toy
downfall.
chest.
Inside the Langston
Hidden beneath
house,
the false bottom
Helen, David,
was a strip of
and the children
35
clung to each
millimeter
other,
film.
tears streaming,
After careful
hearts still
development,
pounding.
it
The
revealed
terror
8
that had
still
consumed them
photographs.
for weeks was finally interrupted.
Each one showed a
Emma
child
whispered,
sitting in the same
"His
chair
gone."
in the same room.
Helen nodded, holding her children
One girl
tightly.
seated in the
His
fourth
gone.
photo
For now,
wore a
it's
shirt
over.
with Camp Elmwood
David exhaled,
1978
relief washing over
printed
him.
across it.
We survived.
Glass found
That's
the
all that
camp still
matters.
operating and
Outside,
contacted their historical
Finch was
office.
escorted into a waiting vehicle.
That girl was
Even
Emily
restrained,
Stanton,
his gaze
reported
remained
missing
sharp,
in 1978
calculating,
during a
as
family
though the
trip.
game were not over,
Her
only
case had gone
postponed.
cold.
Daniels
Ruled
watched
as likely
him,
abduction
notebook
by
in
a
hand.
stranger off the highway.
Obsessive, meticulous,
suspects,
dangerous,
no leads,
but finally
until
contained.
now.
The neighborhood slowly
Emily's
returned to
initials
life.
matched one on the
Windows
dollhouse.
reopened.
ES.
Children played
the
outside.
body count was now
The
5.
heavy silence lifted,
The
replaced
whistleblower.
by cautious optimism.
Then,
Cedar
a
Glen had
miracle.
survived. But in the shadows,
Detective Glass
the memory
received
of
an
Finch
anonymous
lingered.
envelope in her
The fear
mailbox
he
at the
instilled,
station.
the psychological
No return
scars,
address.
the knowledge that someone
Inside
could
was a
watch so
letter and a photo.
meticulously, that
A
would
Polaroid
remain.
of the dollhouse,
The
taken
Langstons
clearly in the
and the town
1980s.
would never be entirely the same.
Pinned to it was a note,
Helen whispered to David
handwritten
that
in
night,
block letters.
holding Emma and Lucas
They
close.
never let her out.
We endured, and we
She
survived.
begged.
But I'll never
couldn't
forget
stop
him.
it. But
David
I made
nodded.
her a room so she
Nor
could
will
feel
I.
safe.
But we are still here.
There are more.
That's what matters.
Look under the
And
floor.
as Finch sat in the back
The
of the
truth is
police
deeper
vehicle,
than you know.
his mind raced with obsession,
Glass's
patterns,
hands trembled.
and plans yet unfinished.
There was a faint signature
Though
at the bottom.
captured, his influence had
S.
already left an
A
indelible
visit
mark.
to Gregory
A
Harlan.
town forever changed, a
Gregory
family
Harlan,
forever altered,
the eldest son,
and a reminder that
was now
some predators'
63
minds cannot be
and
contained,
lived in a remote cabin
even if
2
their
hours
bodies
north
are.
of Detroit. Glass and 2 officers arrived unannounced. He answered the door with a tired expression, long gray hair pulled back, eyes dull. "You're here about Rosie," he said quietly, almost like it was a relief. Glass raised an eyebrow. "We're here about all of them." Gregory let out a long sigh and stepped aside. "Then I guess it's time." Inside, his walls were covered in childlike drawings. Rosie's face appeared repeatedly, drawn over and over in various stages of life. A 9-year-old, a teenager, even a woman in her 20s. "She never left that room," he said softly. "She cried every night. She sang lullabies to herself. I made her the dollhouse. I brought her food when they forgot. But I wasn't strong enough to stop it." Glass pressed. "Who kept her there?" He stared out the window. "All of them, but mostly Sarah. She said Rosie was too wild. Said she had to be tamed." One final clue. Gregory said something else before being taken into custody. She wasn't the last. There was another, a boy. He didn't live in the room. He died before they built it. The floor, the one Rosie slept on. That's where they put him. Detectives returned to